Ari and James, Monday through Friday, 8 to 11 Eastern Time. Your home for all things Big 12.
And away we go. Happiness is a choice. Thank you for choosing us on this very happy Thursday, along with James Westling. I'm Ari Temkin. Great to have you with us today and every day here at your home for the Big 12 Conference. Big 12 today on TuneIn and Big 12 Studios. And, of course, we are presented by our friends at Modelo. Make it a Modelo weekend. We've got West Virginia baseball eliminated yesterday in what wasn't exactly dramatic fashion. We'll get to that and wrap a bow around the sports calendar year for the Big 12 as it is now officially over. James, how are you?
I'm fine. Went to clean my gutters yesterday.
That was very short and obviously not fine.
Went to clean out the gutters.
Okay, so
big project
you
yesterday.
get on a ladder, you got gloves on, you're just going to reach in there, and whatever you find, you're going to toss out.
Ladder, gloves, leaf blower's actually the trick.
Yeah.
Somebody stole my ladder. Could not find the ladder.
So your ladder was in your garage.
Well, that part, not 100% sure. Could have been on the side of the house. I actually think I may have left it up on kind of like our porch deck front area. But never in my wildest dreams would I think somebody would take the time and effort to jack a ladder.
Yeah. You just left it out for them. And maybe somebody thought it was for bulk trash pickup or something, and they just, oh, yeah, I'll take this.
I mean, it was right by the house. My wife said, well, there's a lot of construction in the neighborhood. Might be one of those guys. So now I've been scouring their properties when they're not on the clock, looking for my ladder.
So what do you do? Let's say you find the ladder. What are you gonna do?
Oh, I'm stealing it right back.
Oh, you're gonna steal it back. You're not gonna confront them.
Well, it depends.
Sir, do you have a receipt for that ladder?
When I see the ladder. If I see it just laying around on the property, I'm taking it. There's so much commotion going on, I'm not sure I could pick the ladder out of a lineup. A ladder lineup, I'm not sure I could select the right ladder.
I'll tell you what, this worked out really well for you because now you don't have to clean the gutters.
I don't have to clean the gutters.
How could you possibly get up there to clean the gutters? You don't have a ladder.
Well, I'm trying to Jason Bourne in the backyard to get to the roof. My wife said that's a bad idea. You're going to tear an ACL.
That might be the best outcome, quite frankly.
Trying to figure out a way to get on the roof without a ladder. It is a project.
Tear your ACL or death, somewhere in between those two outcomes.
One of the two.
Yeah.
But somebody somewhere is already halfway through painting their living room, and I'm not happy about it. Like in the dead of night, a ladder.
You should put up signs around the neighborhood. Just a picture of the ladder, missing ladder.
Print off a pic, throw it up on a poster.
Like
I like
$1 million reward.
Like, what's the suspect? What could you describe the suspect? Well, I would assume he's elevated. Look at least 8 or 9 feet in the air. Just the most bizarre thievery I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. So how long was it out there, do you think?
A hot minute. I think a hot minute. Yeah, we've got kind of like a pile of stuff, bikes, ladders, among other things, kind of in the corner of our property up right by the house because we kind of have an overhang area. So you really have to, it's not easy to notice that the ladder would just be sitting out.
Got it.
Probably one of those solicitors I blew off
Yeah.
last weekend, tried to chat me up. I said, no, sir, I bet he took my ladder.
Yeah. That sounds exactly like what that solicitor would do.
That ladder's gone.
They're going to say no to me. I'll take their ladder.
He's cleaning windows. He needs a ladder. He needs a ladder for all that natural light.
So bikes, what else could be stolen out there in front of your house?
Bikes, baseball bats.
Ooh, this might be a good idea. Maybe we could trap the thief. Put something really valuable out there.
That's a good idea, like a bear trap.
Yeah, bear trap.
Yes,
yep,
a
absolutely.
lot of tools, valuable bikes. I like that idea.
Is that legal?
To bear trap somebody for stealing a ladder?
Yeah, well, or stealing something else. To put a bear trap on your house?
Absolutely, it's got to be legal. It's my property. Coming onto my property, that's trespassing. I'm seeing a whole medley of crimes that have been committed. Felony 1 in my eyes.
Let me ask you something. So you and I both go to the same gym. They're not a sponsor, so we don't have to call them out by name.
We don't do that.
But they're a pretty big gym conglomerate.
Mm-hmm.
So you go early in the mornings. You go before the show, which is, I didn't know they invented a time that early.
Yeah, I've been trying the 5 a.m. I actually get there about 5:30. But I like it because I have a very hard stop. Sometimes I find that working out kind of meander around the gym and not really get a whole lot done. End up on my phone, among various things. Going where I have like a very condensed 30-minute window, I keep it short, makes me work harder, I find. I don't know, it's got to be a psychology thing, but I crush those workouts because I know I have a certain time I need to leave to make sure that I can get here to do this show.
How do you know that you crush the workout?
Well, I would say by crush, I just...
Because you're constantly asking me if I crush a workout. I don't know if I'm crushing it or
You
not.
don't know if you're crushing a workout?
I mean, I think I
Not
am.
plate flexing? Yeah, absolutely. Just a little bit of a good sweat going. Sore the next day. Feeling that pump.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
All those things.
I'm wondering if at 5:30 you notice some of the same types of people that you'll see at the gym, and I'm sure that this is not specific to our own gym, but maybe to every gym out there in the world, the gyms of the universe, if you will. So there's guy who takes himself way too seriously, and that is like all the equipment. They've got like the gloves. Now I wear gloves too, but like they've got the like the wristbands. They have a very serious look. They don't even have headphones in.
Mm-hmm.
You see that guy?
Yes. Yes.
What about guy-girl pair? The guy boyfriend-girlfriend, they're going to work out together pair? Oh,
know
let me
it.
spot you.
Yes.
Oh, not,
Several of those.
not
Usually on
unless I
the,
spot you first.
like the younger end of that's the Gen Z crowd.
Yeah.
The Gen Z
Yes.
crowd. The overachievers.
Oh, do they love the boyfriend-girlfriend workout?
5 a.m. workout for the Gen Z. That's not a workout. That's an alibi. Okay.
What about Instagram girl? Do you see Instagram girl at the gym? We're talking very tight fit clothing, and then
A lot of selfies.
lot of
Pics.
selfies. And then they set up. They do the camera setup. So the phone is set up like I don't know, a yard and a half away from them.
And you don't dare walk in that line of sight.
In the line of sight, you can't walk behind them. There's like a 40-foot perimeter around that person that if you were to traverse that 40-foot perimeter, Lord help you.
So, not at our gym, but I think you're onto something in terms of that's a very popular, like...
They're at our gym, just not at 5:30.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. No, the 5:30 crowd, it's either like guys with a six-pack or a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
nowhere in between.
Yeah, that was like what I used to do in high school, where you'd like carry around like oh yeah, I have to do this that many times, which is probably good to know, like how many sets you're doing. It's probably good to have a journal while you work out.
Yeah, there's journaling guys,
Just
but
feels like a bridge too far.
what I mean by spreadsheet is like Microsoft Excel nerding out. Like guys that maybe aren't jacked, but that's their only window, and they kind of lean like, hey, I'm just here to be here, or to say that I've been here, right? But the thing I will say is it's pretty much empty. Our particular gym.
Oh yeah,
that
that
early
makes
in the morning.
that makes all the sense in the world.
And it's like it's almost like a secret society where nobody talks, just a lot of nodding. Everybody's in the zone. Whereas you go later in the day, and it's almost, especially now with like during the summer, there's a lot of high school kids there. I saw that they're offering some insane discounts for that crowd.
Yeah.
Sure, you have thoughts on that.
Yes, I
then
do.
they just flood the gym. Nobody knows what they're doing. It's just a giant hangout.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, you'll see like what appears to be like a gaggle, maybe 6 or 7 would constitute a gaggle of like, let's just call them 15-year-olds who maybe look like they're 11.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get the bench press machine, and they're all standing around, and it's like, look, I'm not the most impressive weightlifter on the planet. I recognize that, but
I don't know, dude. I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit. I've seen you at the gym.
well,
I
I'm not.
I see things.
I guess I'm not judging
You look
anybody.
like you know what you're doing. Very much so.
I found that that's a really impactful way to be at the gym.
Is to look like you know what you're
To
doing.
look like you know
Yeah.
what you're. In fact, I've made a career out of that. I've made a career and a life out of just look like you're supposed to be there.
Yep. Fake it till you make it.
Just go through the motions.
A lot of grimacing.
A lot of very
No eye contact. That's absolutely a no-go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of very purposeful walking. I found that the best way to be at the gym is to do a set and then purposefully walk around.
Power walk. Power walk is a way of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, aggressive walking. Thunderous steps.
Thunderous.
That is the way to go.
The workout is
People
the
see
walk.
you, they're like, that guy knows what he's doing.
He's
on a mission.
There's something going on
And
there.
let me tell you, when you're there at 5:30 and you've got a very tight 30-minute window, I look like I know where I'm going. Sometimes I don't. My favorite is like I'll head to an area and see that it's full, and then you've got to backtrack. It's like the walk of shame. You don't want to
Right.
like I could figure out a way. Okay, so then you thunder to the next area of the gym. It's very
No, I'm not waiting for that. No, I don't know why.
I don't need that bench.
Yeah, I don't
bench
know.
is fine. You take your time.
why it's
You
like
take your time. I'll stand.
it's like you've been caught doing something. Like no,
Right.
I was just over here. Like you'll walk over to the area, and then you'll stop short and realize like 1, 2, 3. No, okay, and then you just turn around and go and it's a walk of shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Or if you're the other guy that's on the machine that you clearly know somebody wants.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And in that case, there's some times where I'll just kind of like let it go. Like, yeah, he's got to figure out that eventually I'm going to leave.
Yes.
Or if they like really linger, it's like, hey, you interested? You want to work your way in this?
Mm-mm. No way.
I only do that though if I know that I'm lifting more than the person that I'm offering it to.
Right. If the Incredible Hulk wants to split sets with you, you're not going to take him up
That
on
happened
that offer.
once, and like it was like a leg extension, and I'm like,
Doubles the weight.
He literally doubled the weight and moved
Like,
it back.
I got this. I got
He
this.
moved. I was like, I'm off the machine now.
See,
Now I'm going to
just-
go somewhere else.
That's a flex. That's that man trying to make you feel small. Don't allow it.
Don't allow it.
Do not let it. See, I set up a whole camp when I'm at a particular area. I get my keys out. I don't keep like my earbuds in a
same.
locker. I put them on the
Same.
floor. I've got my phone and my workout on my phone kind of propped up to a certain. I want to make sure that people know I mark my territory. This is my pocket.
So, because I like to do things between sets, so I will leave my station
What
and
are you
go
doing
elsewhere.
with, like other exercises?
Yeah, jumping jacks, do some ab workouts, just some things that are not,
Dude, that's next level.
based upon. I mean, come on.
That's next.
I know
level.
I look like I know what I'm doing.
You're shedding pounds.
I look like I know what I'm
You're
doing.
shedding pounds.
As it
You're
turns
basically
out-
Charles Barkley.
As it turns, I've been called that before. People think that all the time.
The round mound of radio.
So, but what's happened before is sometimes I'll leave my station, go somewhere else, do some abs or something, and then I come back and somebody's on my machine, and it's like, you not see my things? So I'll like,
What, is all your stuff there?
yeah.
Oh, no.
So I'll like, kind of huff and puff, like, pick up the stuff, like, oh yeah, I guess nobody has any respect for anybody's things anymore.
They might as well punch you in the face. That would be less disrespectful.
What if I punch them in the face?
Definitely.
Think I'd have my gym access revoked?
Do that. No. I think the thing about this gym is I feel weird going in there now because I basically worked out there for free for over a year. Yeah. Yeah, some
Glitch in the system?
Yeah, glitch in the system. They came up to me one day, and it was a worker. That was real embarrassing. I'm doing the whole thing. I think I was on like a squat rack, and a worker in a bright purple T-shirt comes up and approaches me like a SWAT team, calling over other workers. It was very clear, like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. I had to get off the area, and it's kind of like elevated on a little bit of a platform. So it like spotlight, takedown, SWAT style. I'm in big trouble. Didn't put me in handcuffs, but that's a walk of shame. Back to the counter area in front of everybody.
Oh yeah, what did he do?
I had to go get my wallet, pull out my ID,
So what happened?
sign up. I had to sign up.
You had to resign. So you were like Milton in Office Space? Like you weren't technically supposed to be there?
Yeah, pretty much.
So you like scan in and walk through. They're like, you're not a person.
Yeah, in fact, I can't remember. I think I was using like an old family account that may have been my wife's that was long expired, but the key card still worked. So I don't know what was showing up on their end.
Yeah,
I just didn't worry about it.
interesting. Did they backfill you for all the money she'd stolen from them?
No, I think they could tell I was quite embarrassed and flustered, so they let me off easy. Like, you know what? We've probably done enough to this point.
Do they not realize that that's your natural demeanor?
That's just me in my natural habitat. Okay?
That's James Wesley. I'm Ari Tepkin. It's Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio. A lot to get to today. which is why we spent so much time chopping it up about people at the gym. L.J. Martin, the BYU running back. If you missed yesterday's interview, you're not going to want to miss our conversation chopping up with L.J. Martin. We're continuing on the consensus, but I got to tell you, I got a bone to pick with the consensus. I feel like we had a good idea that we didn't really fully flush out. And it's the segment where we are trying to find the consensus amongst all 16, the consensus amongst the three of us on all 16 teams and where they should be ranked preseason Big 12. It sort of takes on a life of its own, and it's like, so at first we had a guest, and we didn't know where we were going to put the guest, and then we have a hidden guest. I don't really know why we need the hidden guest anymore. Now the guest is the front end of the segment instead of the back end of the segment. We're going to be talking for the third straight day about West Virginia football for some reason.
Is this the third straight day?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't been able to make my case for why they're my dark horse sleeper pick in the Big 12.
I mean, clearly they are.
So
They're
I'm ready.
Shooting up.
They are skyrocketing
To where the consensus is going to look more like James's board than a consensus.
Well,
but I digress.
My suggestion was, let's take our two polls that we've put together. Let's weight it like they do when they put together preseason polls back in the day here in the Big 12, where a first place vote, you get 10 points. Second place, you get 9. Third place, you get 8, and so on and so on.
You lost me.
I can whip this puppy out in 30 seconds. A weighted system, and tell you exactly what our consensus is based off of what we have submitted.
All right, so what we should do is we should do that. However, we should still stick with this cockamamie, newfangled segment that's totally not thought through and has way too many moving parts.
Right. See, if we do that, then we know the consensus. Like, we've already determined the consensus.
Good point.
Right? So
we got to wait till afterwards?
I mean, we
see how Claude... See, I feel like AI gave us some really good segment ideas to do in the offseason, but some of them weren't fully flushed out.
Yeah. This one. Where are we at today, Taman?
Number 11.
We're at number 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're talking about two teams, West Virginia and Colorado.
Okay.
Colorado we started talking about yesterday. West Virginia's on its third day. Maybe they can make it to day 4 tomorrow.
They could. We'll see. We'll see what the consensus is for spot number 11. But, yeah, we didn't think through what would happen when you and I had very different polls, which is what we are finding.
Which was inevitable.
Especially coming into this season with so many unknowns. New coaches. We got 3, at least 3 new coaches.
Utah, Iowa State.
Kansas State. Oklahoma State 4.
Oklahoma State 4.
So
all of the states.
So a quarter of the league is turned over, just in terms of coaches. You factor in second-year coaches, nearly half of the league has turned over.
Scott Frost and Rich Rod.
Mm-hmm. And then you've got Willie Fritz and Brent Brennan going into year 3. So with all that said, in this portal era, it speaks to the competitive balance in the Big 12 outside of the two teams that we are in agreement should be the top 2 teams coming into the season, and that's Texas Tech and BYU. They're both loaded. Everybody else, there's potential for a lot of movement in the standings to look very different this year from what it did last year. And comparing last year to 2024, it was a night and day difference.
And I think that's kind of the perfect segue, because when you look at the 2025-2026 sports year for the Big 12, I would say depth, competition across the board is unquestionably the biggest theme of this year for the calendar sports year. All right, let's break that all down next. West Virginia's season officially comes to an end in the quote-unquote Final Four of Omaha, losing to North Carolina yesterday, which officially wraps a bow around the 2025-2026 Big 12 sports year, which we are celebrating next. It's Big 12 Today, Big 12 Radio, presented by Modelo, heard on TuneIn and watched on Big 12 Studios. It's Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio. We are presented by Modelo, along with James Westling. I'm Ari Temkin. Pretty big news for the Big 12 yesterday in that Kansas, Arizona State, the Aer Lingus Classic from Wembley Stadium, the first college football game to be played there, will be part of the Fox Big Noon Kickoff. So that's a pretty significant deal. If Arizona State and Kansas play in the middle of the season in Lawrence, that game is not getting the Big Noon Kickoff treatment, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's FS1, or it's maybe a TNT game, or it's ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
To have that stage for both programs is tremendous. And the thing that makes this game different from these other overseas explorations, if you will, is it's not a week 0 game. It's the, third game of the season for both teams.
And by the way, it's not the Aer Lingus Classic, it's the Union Jack Classic. So.
Yes. Aer Lingus is the week 0.
Correct.
Dublin matchup.
TCU and Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, TCU and North Carolina. Full of wrong information today.
It's the best information. It's in a smaller stadium. So you'll have the local flavor there. You'll have a decent showing from KU and Arizona State. But to play this game after you have a couple of games under your belt should make for a much better product. The week 0 games have always been gross, and Kansas State and Iowa State last year didn't do anything to help that. It was a muddy, rainy, sloppy game where the winning team scored like 24 points. This game, because it's a little bit deeper into the season, I think has the potential to portray the Big 12 in a very favorable light. Because remember, the last time these two teams played, they didn't play last year. They played 2 years ago. It went right down to the wire. KU scored a late touchdown to go up by 3. Arizona State went marching down the field in like 90 seconds and hit Jordan Tyson for the game winner. It was a banger of a game.
Yeah.
So if we get anything even close to that, it should be electric.
Yeah. All right, yesterday, West Virginia was eliminated from the College World Series, an incredible run for Steve Saban's and his West Virginia team, and they should feel very proud about what they accomplished this year. They lose to North Carolina. Oklahoma beats Georgia, so the national championship in college baseball will be Oklahoma and North Carolina. Should be very interesting. But West Virginia losing officially ends the sports calendar year for the Big 12, the fall, winter, and spring seasons. So I figured we'd spend some time kind of going through some of the biggest and best and most important moments of the 2025-2026 sports year for the Big 12, which I believe was a remarkable year for the conference. There was the emergence of some big-time players, some big-time programs. You know, we saw great depth amongst the conference. You know, you think about the Big 12 sent 8 teams to the NCAA tournament in women's soccer. It was the most since 2003 in women's soccer. 10 in women's volleyball, that set a record, and 7 in softball. So, I mean, big-time numbers. That's not to mention how many made it out of the Big 12 in basketball to the NCAA tournament. So the number one thing that stands out is just the competition, how competitive this conference is in all sports from top to bottom.
Yeah, we had a good year. There's no doubt about that. The headline for me is all the either first-time major landmark championships for programs or the first time in a very long time. Texas Tech had not won a conference title in 70 years. Not only do they win the Big 12 championship, beat the second-best team in the Big 12 twice, they get to the college football playoff. Now, Texas Tech softball, it was back-to-back for them, but you go down the line, Arizona men's basketball, program record 36 wins.
First Final Four in
20-plus years. They start 23-0, best start to a season in program history, and that's a very prestigious, long lineage of success program. And then, to your point on West Virginia doing something they had never done before. Kansas doing something they had never done before in hosting a super regional.
TCU women's soccer getting to a Final Four, something they had never done before.
Yeah, and KU having their best season since maybe ever, definitely since 1993. It was the best season in West Virginia, baseball history. And then also, the NBA draft is Tuesday. The conference has a chance to have the first 2 overall picks, number 1 and number 2, in DeBonsa and Peterson, or however way it goes. Did you see John Wall is very much supporting Peterson number 1 to the Wizards? So he's got his endorsement. But either
Not sure
way,
if that would be a good thing or a bad thing if I'm the Wizards.
if those guys go 1-2, it'll be the first time in Big 12 history that that's happened. So, like, we are on the doorstep of a historic NBA draft for this conference. The league has had 4 number 1 picks since 2009 if Peterson or DeBonsa go number 1 overall. And then over half of the Big 12 institutions have a chance to have a player selected in this year's NBA draft. And we are going to shatter the current record of 10 draft picks. We're talking about 8 or 9 in the first round. Like, it's going to be at least 12 or 13 for the league. So all of that collectively is what stands out to me.
Yeah, I mean, a remarkable year for Oklahoma State wrestling, for Oklahoma State golf. I mean, Jax Forrest, if this is a name you're not yet familiar with, get familiar with it. Jax Forrest was in high school 3 months before he won a national championship in college wrestling. Jax Forrest was wrestling for Bishop McCourt High School. He decided to skip the second semester of his senior year and enroll early at Oklahoma State in January, and sets the world on fire, goes and wins a national championship. Like, what? By the way, Oklahoma State had 3 wrestlers that were freshmen win national championships. That's the first time that's ever happened. So get used to the name Jax Forrest, as well as his 2 teammates that won national championships this year, because Oklahoma State might do something very, very special in wrestling over these next 4 years. We saw an Oklahoma State golfer make the cut at the Masters, and another Oklahoma State golfer will play next year's Masters because of winning the national championship this year. Oklahoma State cross country, they won their 6th national championship under Dave Smith.
Texas Tech indoor track and field cleaning up.
Yeah, it was the second consecutive year that Wes Kitley's Texas Tech team won Big 12 championships, indoor, outdoor, cross country, track and field, everything. They just won everything.
Yeah.
If they run or throw something or jump, they won it.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought up Oklahoma State wrestling, because this is a really cool nugget. What do wrestlers do in the offseason? So Jax Forrest and Wyatt Hendrickson are currently competing at the Final X. Final X is the finale of the United States World Team qualification process. So they're wrestling up in New Jersey in a best-of-3 series. Jax Forrest is going against Marcus Blaze from Penn State. Wyatt Hendrickson, the other name, he's going up against a former national champ from Michigan in Mason Paris. Those are the best of the best competing. And
yeah, probably the 4 best wrestlers in the world in college.
And the winners get to represent the United States in basically the Olympics of wrestling at the Senior World Championships. So Oklahoma State, I just want to make note of their wrestling program and those 2 superstars who continue to dominate their sport.
Yeah, no, well said. And Forrest is a name that I think is going to become pretty big nationally over the next couple of years. You know, wrestling is not necessarily a sport that garners a ton of national interest, but I think Forrest is the type that will, because the dude graduated early from high school, left, and then won a national championship in college. That is absurd.
Yeah. And like Wyatt Hendrickson is a name that pops to me, right, because of all of his success in the heavyweights at Oklahoma State. Well, Jax Forrest is on the lighter side. I don't have his actual weight class in front of me. I just closed the tab.
It's 133.
133?
Yes.
That's tiny, right? So he's quick, he's electric, and those 2 names alone are going to continue to carry that Oklahoma State program dominance.
Yeah. Arizona State volleyball, women's volleyball, back-to-back Big 12 championships, and again, 10 volleyball teams out of the Big 12 made the NCAA tournament. So a lot to celebrate, man. I mean, like you said, kind of a lot new, a lot that's not new, a lot to look forward to, a lot of exciting things on the horizon here. I think, when you look at all of the success of all of these teams, there's some national championships in there and certainly more opportunities for it. I would say, just to sort of summarize or characterize the full calendar year, it wasn't elite at the top. There were not as many national championships as I think you'd like, certainly some. But to me, it's just about the depth of this conference, the growth of this conference, the growth within many sports, to see just the emergence of programs and teams and sports that we haven't really seen have success in those sports, to me, is what colors this 2025-2026 sports calendar year for the Big 12.
Well, and like recency bias, I can't get past what has just happened in the spring with West Virginia, the Omaha Ears, with Kansas baseball, and then Texas Tech softball. Like, remember, they were an 11 seed going into the NCAA tournament. Nobody expected them to be playing in the national championship Women's College World Series best of 3, right? And they are loading up in real time once again in the portal. Caitlin Terry's already said she's coming back. Another, I think, outfielder said she's coming back. They just nabbed a transfer from Oklahoma that has set the softball Twitter world on fire. Like, they are going nowhere.
Oh, wow. Only Oklahoma's supposed to be bringing in transfer portal players.
Right.
Only Oklahoma gets your best players.
Dude, it was amazing. We never got to this, but I had a graphic that I pulled, and it was somebody was tracking the number of NIL transfer portal mentions during the national telecasts. And then they had the hard facts of how many transfers Texas had on their roster, how many transfers Oklahoma had on their roster. And it was like splitting hairs. But with Texas Tech, it was like 60% of the mentions were Texas Tech when talking about the portal and NIL and buying your roster versus like 13% for Texas and Oklahoma. It was a huge discrepancy.
Yeah, and it's not surprising at all.
Right.
All right. Any other thoughts, big picture takeaways from this calendar year as we sort of wrap a bow around it and close the book on it?
Yeah, I would say, like with the two marquee sports, football and men's basketball, the next step is for the Big 12 to have a better showing in the college football playoff, whether that means winning a game or getting 2 teams in. This year was a huge step forward, having Texas Tech even in a position to have a bye in the college football playoff. And then men's basketball, more teams in the Elite Eight. Like, that's going to be the thing I'm looking for next year. The Sweet 16 was fine. We had a whole slew of schools. But only one team got past the round of 16, and that was Arizona. And then Arizona got clobbered in the Final Four. So that's the next step on the basketball side, is a national championship, more teams in the Elite Eight Final Four.
Yeah. And, I mean, look, we're less than 3 weeks away from Big 12 football media days, so the page to 2026-2027 will turn very, very quickly. He's James Wesley. I'm Ari Tepkin. This is Big 12 Today, presented by Modelo, heard on TuneIn and watched on Big 12 Studios. On the way next, if you missed our conversation with the leading rusher in the Big 12 from last season, L.J. Martin, you'll want to hear it next. This is Big 12 Today, presented by Modelo, heard on TuneIn and watched on Big 12 Studios.
Shoulder fade. Was that caught? It was! Caleb Douglas. Look at what he found. Ford the other way. Pass corralled by Douglas. A first down and another big play. There goes Douglas. Inside the 25. He's been a big play machine. A gain of 43 more.
Final 30 seconds of the quarter. Second down throw to the end zone. Douglas. Touchdown, Texas Tech. What a drive.
Morton long throw to the sideline, and the catch is made. Another missed tackle, and Douglas is free inside the 20 and inside the 15.
14 touches, almost 90 yards. Back shoulder fade. Was that caught? It was! Caleb Douglas. Look at what he found.
Baron Morton wants another touchdown for the road, and he's got it for Douglas, who finds his own camera on a touchdown.
Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio. Heard on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios. We welcome in the best running back in the Big 12, the reigning Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, L.J. Martin from BYU. Turned down the NFL to come back to BYU one more season and take one more shot at a Big 12 championship. LJ, super excited to have you on the program. Ultimately, why come back one more year and play for the Cougs?
Yeah, I just felt like it was the best decision for my career, and yeah, just being able to have another opportunity of upping my draft stock, as well as having another opportunity just to play football in college one last time, compete for possibly a national championship, a Big 12 championship, and just kind of get those things going.
Yeah, I'm curious, LJ, for your perspective, vantage point of last season, because you're coming to the season, obviously you're a known commodity at that point, but the quarterback was up in the air, and here comes this freshman who didn't spend spring football with the team. Like, give us your perspective on the emergence of Bear Bachmeier last year.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. We knew coming in he had a lot of talent. He was a pretty highly touted recruit. And, yeah, so just knowing that, we knew that he was going to have a lot of ability. It was just his matter of being able to understand the offense, and he got a hang of it pretty well, so he was able just to fit right in.
LJ, take us through your off season to this point. You missed some time last year with that injury. How has rehab progressed, and where are you at in terms of what you're looking to be even better at this year than you were a season ago?
Yeah, I had surgery back in December, and then so I've been pretty much working out since February. So I've been pretty much like with the run-in since January, and then I was clear to run in January, and then I've been pretty much lifting everything since February. So I'm pretty good now. I'm back to 100%, and yeah, so everything's going well with that. And then I'm looking to, you guys will probably see a little bit more explosiveness out of me. We've been working on that a lot, just explosiveness, gotten faster, quicker, so all those good things.
Yeah, and I wonder, are there things you've looked at in terms of approach to try to figure out ways to stay fresh and stay healthy over the course of the season?
Yeah, we looked at some things, but at the end of the day, we want to be a physical team, and we want to kind of impose our will on the other team. So we play a pretty physical brand of football. So with that, it takes a lot of hits. So just knowing that, so we're really just preparing our bodies to go out there and withstand possibly a 15, 16 game season.
And what do you do to do that? Like, is it just exposing yourself to those hits? Like, how do you kind of get yourself better to deal with those hits over the course of the, as you said, 15, 16 game season?
Yeah, for me, it was just strengthening like all the little muscles just around those areas, just to make sure there's no like little just wear and tear things kind of going on. So I'm just trying to strengthen like my your external internal rotation, just so we have those extra security blankets for my shoulders and stuff like that. So it's little things like that, just they go on the course of the season, as well as just exposing ourselves to certain stresses on our bodies, just so that way when we get to the season, we're ready for them.
Talking with BYU running back L.J. Martin here on Big 12 Radio and Big 12 Studios. What can you tell us, L.J., about just the BYU offense and how dynamic it could potentially be this season? Last year, I don't want to say you guys had the baby, but you had a freshman quarterback. This year, you've got a guy that's played a full season in the system, had his best game, the last game of the year. You at running back, the offensive line looks strong. You bring in some really nice portal additions in the tight end room. Just how could this offense be even more explosive?
Yeah, we're really excited. A lot of the O-line, they came back, and we made a few key additions to it. And then as well as in our tight end room, we lost Carson, but we brought in two really good tight ends, so we feel really good about that. And then out there at receiver, we lost a couple guys, but we brought in guys like Kyler Casper and Legend, who's been doing really well as a freshman, just to kind of help with that. So, they've all been doing well. And the Bear, he's only gotten better. During spring, he was doing great, and he's been doing great during our 7-on-7 stuff. So we're really excited to see how he's progressed as a passer, and really excited to see how he uses it during season.
It feels like despite what you've already accomplished, LJ, you've got a lot to prove this season. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like we always got something to prove, every season's a new season. So I'm just going out there, giving it my all, and just trying to, just try to be the best I can be.
Do you have a number in mind in terms of like carries per game for you?
Carries per game, I'm good for whatever. I mean, if it's 30 times a game, I'm gonna be more than happy. But yeah, if it's only 10, I mean, I'm good with that too. It's just whatever helps the team win. I'm good with either.
LJ, did you come from a mostly basketball family?
Yeah, I grew up playing mainly basketball, and yeah, I just was kind of just better at football. So yeah, one time during my sophomore year, went to a basketball tournament and I did all right. And then football was kind of just coming more natural. I probably because my sophomore year, I probably averaged like, we played 5 games because it was COVID, but I averaged like 200 yards a game rushing. So I was like talking to my dad. I was like, yeah, I think I just want to stick with football. And then a week later, I got my first offer.
Wow.
And then we started doing camp stuff. So yeah.
What is
Okay, so you played basketball and football both. In
Mm-hmm.
your sophomore year, you realized, hey, this football thing, man, I'm cooking.
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted it to be basketball just because that's what we grew up playing. And, I always played football because I enjoyed it. It was more like a team thing. And then, yeah, as I got older, I just kind of fell more in love with football just because, I mean, yeah, it's like you're just with all your guys. Anyone could play, really. It's like, how it is in high school. You got guys that'll never make the basketball team, but they make the football team just because we need numbers, So you're out there with all your guys and we're just having a blast. So it kind of just made me love football for what it is.
Yeah, that's amazing. What does LJ stand for?
Yeah, my dad's name is John, so it's just Little John.
That's
So yeah,
awesome.
So yeah, I'm just named after my dad.
Are you a fan of Lil Jon?
Yeah, but they just been calling me LJ ever since I was little. So yeah, they never call me John or Little John. It's just always been LJ. My parents always called me LJ. So yeah, it's kind of weird because whenever we get in class, they'll call on me as John. So that's kind of how I know like where people would know me from. Because if it was school, it was John, and then if it's not school, it's LJ. So yeah.
That's amazing. And then I'm always fascinated by recruiting stories and journeys and like how guys end up where they land. You at BYU. You're pacing, by the way, to become the career leading rusher all time at BYU this season. So let's circle back to the recruiting process. Did you originally commit to Stanford, and then how did you ultimately end up at BYU?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because originally I committed to Texas Tech, and then so I was committed there for about a month or two, and then but really my dream school at the time was Stanford just because their education, and then my mom really wanted me to go there, and so like all that, so with my mom in my ear, and everyone wanted me to for my education, so I ended up committed to Stanford. So I was committed to Stanford, getting ready to early enroll, and the last game of the season they played BYU and they lost, and Coach Shaw had resigned. So that had happened, and then so that happened. So I was kind of wondering if I still wanted to go to Stanford. So they were still recruiting me, but I kind of had to change it hard also because they had a new coach who was more air raid, and I didn't want to go to college just to pass protect. I wanted to run the ball. So yeah, I kind of started talking to other schools, and a couple other schools hit me. I talked to BYU the first time, probably like a week before signing date, 2 weeks. They came out to my house, had a home visit, came up here, had a great visit, and then I pretty much signed the early signing date. So I signed within like 2 days and within 2 weeks of knowing them.
Wow.
So yeah, I was just like, because they just felt genuine, like good people. Had a couple other schools that were trying to recruit me, but they would always play games and just say like, oh, if you don't commit by now, like you're not gonna have an offer, or like we're gonna give you the visit, but you need to know by like whenever if you're gonna commit, right? So I was like, okay. And then Coach Harvey out here, he was just like, if you want to commit like today, that's cool. If you want to commit like in April, like it's completely fine. He's like, I don't care when you commit, just as long as you come. Right. So I was like, shoot,
I'm assuming, LJ, you're not LDS?
No, I'm not.
So what did you know about the LDS church before enrolling at BYU, and what I guess have you learned about it since?
Yeah, all I had was a teammate in El Paso playing basketball. He grew up LDS, and he wouldn't play with us on Sundays. So that's pretty much all I knew about it. And they had like about 6 kids, 7 kids. They actually live up here now, so I go over to their house for Sunday dinners.
That's awesome.
And stuff. So yeah, so that also helped in the recruiting process because it kind of just allowed my parents just to be able to relax just because they knew people out here and because at first it's kind of intimidating because you just hear all kind of stories about the church and whatever happens, but just being able to be familiar with those people and just know like the type of people they are, that they're good people and they really try to take care of us. Yeah, I mean, it kind of just worked out and I mean, I've had a great time here. It's been the best decision of my life, I would say.
Have you found it's made you more religious?
Yeah, it definitely helped me find my, I don't know, you would say like my religion, I guess. I'm just Christian, so I'm not denominational. Kind of grew up Catholic, but it just kind of reinforced it just because you're surrounded by guys that just talk about religion or came back from missions and talking about religion. So and that it just kind of makes you want to like just be better for yourself, So I kind of thought like once I got to college, I probably wouldn't go to church as much just because no parents around, so no one really getting me to go. But I'm down here and everyone's just talking about going to church or doing things and just doing small things, just trying to be like an impact in your community. So yeah, it kind of just got me to go to church on my own, start going a lot more, just start reading the Bible and all that stuff, and it just helped me a lot. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Man, that's incredible. Great stuff from BYU running back LJ Martin joining us here on Big 12 Radio. When you think about your legacy, I noted that you're pacing for an all-time record. No BYU running back has ever led the team in rushing in all 4 seasons that they're on campus. What do you want people, when people think about the LJ Martin legacy, what do you want them to think about?
Yeah, I would say just that I'm a winner. We came back from my first year. I remember us not having a great year. We were about 5-7, and then we traded around. We were 11-2, and then last year we were 12-2. So we just built it up, and we kept winning, and so I would say I just want to be known as a winner. Just have a good final year, and just kind of go down in history as one of the best backs to come out of here. Because you see guys like Jamal, my coach, Coach Harvey. Tyler Algier, I kind of want to be in the conversation with those guys because they're the best. So I want to be part of the best.
Awesome.
Well, man, you're doing that. You guys are winning at a very high level. Can't wait to catch up with you again at Big 12 Media Days. We appreciate your time. And, man, we're excited about the upcoming season and just congrats on an incredible career up to this point at BYU.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me.
It's BYU running back LJ Martin here on Big 12 Today. You're listening to us exclusively on TuneIn. You're watching us on Big 12 Studios.
Bell is in a corner for Wyoming. And Sam Levitt on the move, completes the pass. There's Mateer, the tight end, and into the end zone for an ASU touchdown. Javon Mateer.
Levitt rolling out, throwing to the end zone. Touchdown, Mateer.
.17 to go until halftime. Levitt will throw short to the tight end. There he goes. Touchdown, Sun Devils. Mateer, 16 yards, and it's 20-0.
Steps out of the tackle. He'll throw on a goal. That's a touchdown. It's Mateer back in the game.
Already run 50 This one down the seam for a touchdown. Shimon Mateer with an 18-yard score.
Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio. We are presented by Modelo, heard on TuneIn and watched on Big 12 Studios. All right, we are getting to our consensus for number 11 coming up, but it's time now to channel our inner Mills Lane. Easy for me to say.
Let's get it on!
Thank you. Let's get it on. I always feel weird when I say it like that.
Yeah.
Can you give me one? Let's get it on.
I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Thank you.
It's very aggressive. It's very in your face. It's very fast. Like, is that sped up?
No. It's literally his regular.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Words cannot come out of my mouth that quickly.
Let's get it on!
Let's get it on!
All right, so this is the segment where Taban Turner, our producer, introduces a topic, and then the first person gets to argue the side they want to argue, then the other person has to argue the other side. So without further ado, let's get it on.
All right, guys. I actually have the wrong sports bet on, but
yeah,
I'll
this
fix
is
that.
way more intense.
Yeah, I'll fix that. My apologies. But we'll start off right off on the bat. Let's get it on. Who will be the number one pick in this year's NBA draft? Will it be A.J. DeBonta or Darren Peterson?
We haven't answered this question yet, have we?
It's your guy. It's your dude.
But you know what?
Rock
Just
chalk.
for the record, the draft is on Tuesday. This is big. We have to. This is the ultimate.
No, I understand.
Number one.
I know, you're
Clock's
right.
ticking. The clock is ticking.
I'm going to let you have the honors here, sir.
All right, so, man, like if I was putting a percentage on it, it would be close because more NBA scouts and executives, ESPN pulled 20 of them. 12 of them said they think Darren Peterson goes number 1, and 8 said A.J. DiBonsa. I still lean A.J. DiBonsa. Okay, one scout said he's the only prospect in the draft that has a chance to be elite on both ends of the floor. So he's the more well-rounded player. Like, that's one part of his game from last year. Yeah, he led the nation in scoring. He shattered a bunch of freshman scoring records. But defensively, like the effective field goal percentage of the guys he was guarding, it was some of the best numbers in the Big 12 and the country. Like, he is an elite on-ball defender because of his length, because of his quickness. So I think the well-roundedness of it, there's nothing going on with his camp. I think it's DiBonsa, still number 1.
Yeah, you would. Mr. Conservative over here, just shoot it straight down the fairway.
I just wanted to make a case for Darren Peterson.
Oh, Peterson's undoubtedly going to be the number 1 pick. I mean, that's what we do at Kansas, James. You know that.
Turn out number 1 picks.
Turn out number 1 overall picks.
Didn't you say that he has the blessing of John Wall?
John Wall.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of an effective field goal percentage on odd Tuesdays you're talking about there, but here's what I know. Did Kansas and BYU play this year?
Yeah, I think they did.
What happened in those games when Darren Peterson
if I remember
matched
right,
up against DiBonsa?
Peterson had a pretty good game. Didn't he leave at halftime? Didn't somebody on the sidelines like pull him aside and you could read their lips and it said, we're going to sit you the rest of the game?
Yeah, because he had already accomplished so much in the first half of the game.
So he is going to play
He
like
didn't
all
need
4
to
quarters?
play the second half of the game in order to solidify his position as the best player in the history of the world.
History of the world.
Okay, fine. Maybe not that far.
I like
My favorite move here is the only visit with Washington move by Darren Peterson. This is Peterson and DiBonsa meeting together at that like pre-fight press conference, and Peterson's like, "What? I'm not even gonna meet with Utah or anybody else." Yeah, what? Just stares him down. Peterson goes number 1.
I can't wait to see if Utah actually listens to his camp and bypasses him at 2 and takes Boozer. Like, that's what I've got my popcorn for. Yeah, number 1, but then the drama does not just dissipate after the first pick.
That would be some drama. Very interesting. Darren Peterson's camp has been criticized. I'm just throwing that out there.
Do you have a camp?
And A.J. DiBonsa going to the Jazz, playing in his own backyard, like there's a storybook ending for everybody, but it involves the Wizards rolling the dice and taking Peterson.
I am very confident, and I'm not just saying this for the sake of this segment, that Darren Peterson can be the number 1 overall pick. I'm as confident as Peterson is.
Nobody's more confident than Peterson's camp.
Now, you guys know I love a good NBA mock draft. I look at it almost every day. So this next topic has me thinking somewhat about who's going to be the Big 12 player not named A.J. DiBonsa or Darren Peterson who will be drafted after them. A lot of people say it'll be Kingston Flemings, but some drafts have Braden Burry. So let me ask you guys, the experts, who will be drafted first in the Big 12 outside of A.J. DiBonsa or Darren Peterson?
Yeah, that's a great question because these two guys were linked across the year, had some great matchups against one another. And, I mean, one guy in Burry's has some pretty good size, whereas Flemings is more stout. Is that a fair assessment of the two of them?
Like, Flemings is more stout. Like, he's bigger?
Yeah, smaller but more stout, built like a tree trunk, maybe tougher than he'd look based on his size.
Okay. I would lean Burry's for that. Like, Flemings is small. Now, he's ripped. He's ripped. There's not an ounce of fat on his body. But, he's only 190 pounds.
I've got Flemings being the first Big 12 player off the board of the non-Peterson DiBonsa variety. I think the draft will go as follows. Peterson number 1, DiBonsa 2, Boozer 3, Wilson 4, Wagler 5, Flemings 6.
Did not hear Darius Acuff Jr.
Did not hear Darius
Was
Acuff.
Caleb Wilson in there?
Yeah, fourth to the Bulls.
Fourth to the Bulls. That's who the Bulls are leaning?
Yeah.
He's going to be a game changer. He's so good.
He's the best player in this draft. I don't think it's even close.
Oh, clearly the best player in this draft. All right, so for Braden Burry's, the thing that scouts love is he got off to such a slow start, and then we didn't really get the sample size of how good he could potentially be until we got into Big 12 play. So if you look at his splits, sure, he shot 49% from the floor, 39% from 3 for the season, but those numbers were way better from about 20 games, the last 20 games of Arizona's season. He's not quite as tall and rangy as the NBA likes for a 2-guard. He's about 6'5", but his size in terms of his strength, his toughness, he's got a really good-looking shot that I think NBA scouts are going to fall in love with. Hey, we modify that just a little bit, and he becomes an elite shooter in the NBA. And defensively, he was maybe Arizona's best perimeter defender, regularly locking up like the opponent's best guard. So he maybe doesn't have as high of a ceiling as Fleming's, but all the mocks, it's a 50-50 split. So that would be my case for Burries, is you more know what you're getting in Burries in terms of being a long-term player that can be thrust into your starting lineup right away.
Well, and I think, quite honestly, the film on Burries in the Final Four will not show him well. I mean, they had to get the ball out of his hands. And so I think it comes down to, like, do you view Burries eventually as a point guard, or is he just an off guard? Is he a 2-guard? And if that's the case, I don't think he's a lottery pick. I mean, I think part of the thing here is a 6'5" point guard, who could also shoot a little bit, but the problem was he just did not play well as a point guard in the Final Four.
Totally. And it's crazy because, like, you look at the two and you think, okay, Braden Burries is way bigger, but they're actually about the same height. Burries maybe has like a ½ inch on Kingston Fleming's.
Interesting.
But just watching Burries at shoot-around, I remember the first Arizona game that I had, and he was struggling. He wasn't the Braden Burries that he was in the Big 12 tournament and down the stretch. Just watching him at shoot-around, I thought, that is an NBA bot. Like, that is a man among boys. So can he play the two at 6'4", 6'5"? I mean, the NBA collectively is the shortest it's been in 39 years.
Wow.
TBD.
Good nugget.
That was when you were gone. We were talking about, like, the impact on the big man when Wemby was struggling. Yeah, the league is the smallest it's been in 39 years.
Personally, I like them both as an NBA guy. I really do like them both. Their ceilings, I think Kingston Fleming can be a Derrick Rose type, and I think that Braden Burries could be a Devin Booker type. Just throwing that out there. All right, next topic. Who will have a better sophomore season? Now, I know one of the sophomores is a redshirt, Will Hammond, or will it be Barrett Bachmeier, the actual true sophomore?
Okay, better individual season.
Yes.
In terms of who's going to be first or second team All Big 12.
Yes.
I go Bear Bachmeier. Sorry, am I first on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I go Bear Bachmeier. His best game of the year was his last game. He's been healthy. I actually think BYU's wide receiver room is vastly underrated. The Casper kid from Oregon is a 6'6" target. They brought in two of the top tight ends in the portal in the country. One's a blocker, one's a pass catcher. Oh, and he has the reigning Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year that he can turn and hand the ball off. I think BYU's offense is going to be much more explosive. And even on paper last year, the guy had over 3,000 yards. He had an elite touchdown to interception ratio. It just was kind of masked by what felt like some conservative play calling. I think it's wheels off for Bachmeier this year, and I think he's going to light the league on fire.
Yeah, the answer here is clearly Will Hammond. Clearly. I mean, it's never been more obvious than it is at this exact moment.
It's pretty clear.
And that's because of expectations. Expectations for Bear Bachmeier are very high. Expectations for Will Hammond are very low.
Oh, yeah.
So
nobody expects them to win anything.
And look, not with Will Hammond at quarterback. Look, Hammond has a motivation that you can't fake.
Let's get it on!
Right? Like the entire offseason so far has been about Brendan Sorsby. So he's motivated, I would imagine, to prove the coaches wrong in terms of why would you pick over me for another quarterback and have this guy come in that, almost sabotaged our entire season before he even got started. I think he's got the higher motivation. I think he's got the better, more talented team all around him. I think the answer here is obviously Will Hammond.
Obviously.
I will just say this. I like Bear Bachmeier a lot, but I will say with Will Hammond, remember, Chris Lovell actually said this. Will Hammond was supposed to be the guy. I mean, he was supposed to be the guy until Sorsby showed up. So I think I agree with Ari, a lot of motivation.
Well, and I've heard so much about Kyle Casper this offseason, man. He better be something. Because the dude didn't do anything at Oregon.
Oh, the BYU receiver? Yeah.
Like, all anybody can talk about is how good Kyle Casper looks, and it's like, okay, cool. Like, what do you have, like 2 catches at Oregon?
Well, he was hurt. Yeah, he missed most of the year with an injury.
Still.
Doesn't mean I see what you're saying. Like, that's still a little bit of a, okay, let's wait and see.
Right, like this guy who's expected to be the top receiver for BYU. That's my biggest concern with BYU is the wide receiver position. Now, I know the tight ends should be pretty good. We'll see.
All right, next topic. Staying on football. Who will have a better second season in the Big 12? Will it be Scott Frost or will it be Rich Rod?
I'm going to make you argue for Scott Frost here. Since
You would. You would.
I mean, I can't believe how this has gone with West Virginia. I am upset
You've got PTSD from.
that I'm on my third day of arguing for West Virginia here.
See, I circle back to 2 years ago, Taman. Ari's bold stance was that West Virginia would win the Big 12. Neil Brown got fired at the end of the year. They missed a bowl. They got clobbered by Penn State like week 2. So a lot of this stems from never forgets. Never forgets.
In other words,
a lot of this has
what
to stem
happened
from that.
was
So who won the Big 12 2 years ago?
Arizona State, bro.
Which everybody picked.
Yeah.
Which everybody
Yeah,
picked.
my pick was terrible, too.
Yeah, no, I know.
Actually, I had Iowa State. They played in the Big 12 championship game. Humble brag. It has to happen every once in a while.
All right. Who has a better second season? It's clearly Rich Rod. Have you not paid attention to what Rich Rod has done this offseason, James? I mean, I think it's super obvious that the answer here is obviously Rich Rod and what they've done this offseason by bringing in Michael Hawkins, by bringing Rick Trickett back as the offensive line coach. It's perfect. It's the perfect fit for Rich Rod's offense. I'm not even sure Scott Frost makes it through the season this year.
Wow.
Okay, I was just trying to go bold.
That's bold.
Thank you.
I mean, my opponent says Rich Rod. I say Scott Frost and UCF. 7-20 Big 12 record the last 3 years, be damned. It's a breakthrough season down in Orlando. A rival Big 12 coach said anonymously, hey, once he gets a quarterback at the level he wants, watch out for them. I'm high on that program. So they bring in a guy who wasn't able to participate in the spring because he's bothered by an injury, is also 5'11", 220 pounds, and played at an FCS school. Group of 5. James Madison. Malachi who? That secondary is nails. Okay, top 3 in the Big 12 in passing defense. All those guys are back. Bear Bachmeier, Will Hammond, they'll be lucky to complete a pass for a first down against that secondary. It's UCF all the way.
Yeah, it's weird. You're making
Central Arkansas running back.
You're
Come
making
on.
a good case here for UCF. I'm surprised you had them so low on your preseason top 16 list. It's weird.
Major breakthrough year. Hey, he's done the year 2 leap before, 6-7 back in 16, 13-0 in 2017. Little foreshadowing for what's about to happen in Orlando.
oof, oof, oof. All right. Last topic. And by the way, this last topic, whoever argues against better have a pretty good argument. So West Virginia's baseball, their season came to an end yesterday. We all know that. But one thing that will never be forgotten is their home crowd, Country Road. So my question is, did West Virginia prove they have the best home crowd in all of college sports? Yes or no?
Obviously, yes. All of college sports. Not just one sport, all of them. All of college sports, all time. This is the best crowd and fan base ever to grace its presence in America. 26,000 strong in Omaha. Don't let that bypass the fact that they can't always fill their football stadium that's about 50K. 23+ thousand, the Omaha Ears, in all of sports, all time. Pat McAfee for president. West Virginia's got the best
Nobody
fans.
said anything about football. Nobody said anything about football.
All
They said
of sports.
baseball, yeah, but nobody said West Virginia football has the best home crowd in all of college
That's why I
sports.
said all sports.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, big house, horseshoe. Yeah, no, of course. It's obvious that West Virginia has the best home crowd in the history of the world.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, the Roman Coliseum. Why stop at college sports?
have you been to WVU Coliseum? I
Have
know
you
it has
been-
a different name now.
Have you been to the Coliseum in Rome?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pales in comparison.
Pales in comparison.
Jerry West jerseys hanging in the rafters.
Yeah, who cares that people
Very
used to fight to the
aggressive.
death in the Roman Coliseum?
Profanity-laced chants from the students. They do their homework, though. I will say that, man. They come with, like, one of those printouts that has all the family members of the starting 5, like all these embarrassing things about them, and then they get after it.
Shout out West Virginia. You guys have great fans. Country Roads, take me home. Do you know the lyrics at all or no?
Country road, take me home. West Virginia. Oh, yeah. I
To
know.
the place I belong.
Oh, yeah. All of it.
Can you hit the note?
Sing it all the time.
Can you get there?
My vocal cords are a little bit strained by the heat.
So
this
we
morning.
got James to sing there, but it was very monotone. It was very quiet too. He did one of these like.
That's how I do it. That's how I do it.
Virginia, my mama. He
That's-
was like a
that's-
6-year-old
That's how I do it. That's my style.
that is being forced
Dude, do
to
you even
participate
listen to
in
the
a
radio?
school.
Have you
It's
tune
like-
the dial every once in a while, Ari?
James, I'm paying for a very expensive private school. When we have the Christmas presentation, you get up there and you belt the words.
Dude,
To the place I belong.
Last
West
summer.
Virginia.
last summer, my son, he was at a camp. He did not want to participate in the final week in like rap play. He was a little bit shy, a little bit
throwback.
nervous. Huh?
He's a throwback.
He's a throwback. He had a lot of like reading parts. I'm not sure they realized he's not quite there yet. He's very young. He was like 5 or 6. He kept telling me all week long, I'm not doing that play. I said, like, buddy, I think you are. I'm not doing that play. Like, I show up at noon. We've got front row seats. We're ready for the play. Sure enough, no late. They get up there on stage. The camp director makes an announcement that they're still missing one of their performers. Bro totally didn't show up. You know what he did? He went to the bathroom. He told the camp director, I've got to go to the bathroom. He locked himself in the stall for the entire performance. He found a way. I wasn't even mad. I applaud. I said, dude, that's pretty impressive. You must have really not wanted to do the play. Hid out in the bathroom. Said, Leighton, went to check on him, play's over. Yeah, is the play over? You wrapping up in there? Like, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The kid's crafty.
Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio. That's amazing. All right, Mike Asti, the managing editor, WV Sports Now, joins us next. It's Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio.
into TCU territory, hit by Canada.
Comes out with a zone option here coming off. You see him holding the football there because he can throw the football. If Love makes a block there.
So he's come back this year, had to earn the job in fall camp, did so, and he's been great. This quick hitter from Wilson, and an immediate tackle in the open field. DeJon Stanley with the catch, but stopped well short. Wilson, check down to the left. It's 1-on-2. A little hesitation move, and then Bernard gets shoved out of bounds.
Plays in the block here. Morton's pass. Long route complete, but short of the first down yardage.
Is Mayava floating into the end zone. It's intercepted by Canada. The second interception for the TCU defense.
There he is. 7 Channing Canada going up against the freshman Corey Sims. It was a nice job for Canada, met the line of scrimmage, and then undercut him on the underthrown ball that Jaden Mayava just does not get enough horsepower on.
Cincinnati 16, Iowa State 15, Kansas 14, UCF 13, Baylor 12. And now we're discussing whether West Virginia or Colorado should be 11. Joining us on a talk about West Virginia football is Mike Asti from WV Sports Now. What's going on, Mike? How are you?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you?
Yeah, appreciate your time.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so let's jump right into it. Where would you rank West Virginia 1 through 16?
It's very difficult, I will say, and I was kind of laughing when I heard your open. I am sure Mountaineer Nation is going to be upset about being even ranked anywhere from 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I mean, I have seen some nationally rank them as low as being last in the conference. I don't know myself if I'm fully buying into the hoopla, what Rich Rod is selling, and some fans are arguing that they're going to go ahead and contend for the conference title and go ahead and be a top 4 program, or even where the athletic director Ren Baker says they should be based on the financial investment. He believes in a couple years they'll be in the top 4, at least on finances, and then should compete there. I don't feel they're ready yet, but I do think if you look at this roster, if you look at Rich Rod now being there for year 2, if you look at the schedule, especially the conference schedule early on, they're going to be facing some programs that are going to have coaches in year 1 of their rebuild, like they had with Rich Rod coming back last year, and just more talent, more Power 4 players, a great high school recruiting, a great transfer season, some continuity from a year ago, as bad as it was. I do think they should be way better than they were a season ago when they were 4-8, and yeah, maybe they should have won 6 games if certain things went their way and they had injuries, but they were really, really bad. They should take a step. They should be better. I don't think they're fully going to contend yet, but I wouldn't be shocked if they're anywhere more in the middle of the pack, and maybe they're more 7th or 8th in the conference. Maybe they're exceeding some of these national expectations. I certainly would imagine that if they would finish 13th or 12th, that would cause some pause about the tenure. I'm not saying Rich Rod in any way would get fired after year 2 at all, but I've always said that eventually Ren Baker's job will be on the line, and Rich Rod has a 5-year deal. If they're not better than where they're being projected or where you guys have them, certainly in year 3 or 4, I think a hard conversation will be had. So I think there's pressure to exceed what you're saying, but I would maybe say they exceeded a little bit, but not as incredible as some fans are going to argue.
So, Mike, with over 100 players turned over in Rich Rod's 1.5 seasons. Where would you say, like, where would you identify the most talent upgrades for this year?
I would definitely say for this year, the offensive line, and that was the most important spot for sure. You may remember the meme that's kind of gone viral, and some Big 12 fans have had fun with Rich Rod at the end of the year doing and you can only see this visually, but putting his two hands together and saying, we can't get an inch. And this is paraphrasing. Why can't we get an inch? We got to get an inch. If we can get this much, we'll have a chance. If we can't get this much, we won't have a chance. And he had a funnier rant than what I'm saying here, but putting his hands together and kind of banging the table that's the problem. And regardless of the running backs and whoever was in or whoever was out and all the injuries, they couldn't get that 1 yard in crunch time, which likely made a difference of maybe bowl eligibility and not, even though that wasn't where the full program wants to be. But the offensive line this year now has some experience coming back. They have some Power 4 transferred added on. Wes King is there. They have some Jacksonville State players that Rich Rod's familiar with. They have Rick Trickett, who is just objectively one of the greatest offensive line coaches in college football history. If you look at his resume, he's certainly been with Rich Rod before. He's won a national championship with Florida State. He knows how to do this. He is now back. He coaches them the right way. And Kevin Brown, who was he's a freshman, but he was their headline recruit who they flipped from Penn State. Guys, he looks like an X-Men. Like, he looks like he is ready physically right now. And that was even out of high school. He's now put on more muscle. He's going to be relied on from the jump. He looks ready to go, but their offensive line is bigger, has more talent, has more experience, and when they don't have experience like Kevin Brown, a freshman, he looks bigger and physically ready to go. That right there should allow them to have more success with Rich Rod's spread offense, ground attack, etc. And then I'll also mention Cam Cook, last year's leading rusher in the nation. It was at Jack State, but he comes over. He's been in the Big 12 before at TCU. I think he can be ready to carry the load. They need more behind him, but you have him with a much better offensive line. Right there, your offense is better based on what Rich Rod wants to do. So that was what they needed to fix, and that was a segment of the team that, at least what they think, they should have fixed and be way better than it was. Granted, there are other areas that could be concerns.
Yeah, and I wanted to lead you there next, Mike, because I agree. I think the hiring of Trickett, the competition they have along the offensive line, Hawkins, Cam Cook, like the offense should be better and by a significant margin. Right. But this is a team and a program that's had one of the worst pass defenses in college football the last 2 years. You're not going to fix everything in a one-off season, but how improved will the defense be, and maybe more specifically the secondary?
Yeah, so the defense should be better, but the secondary is still the concern. I mean, the defense and the secondary in particular, as you mentioned, has been among the worst in the conference, even preceding Rich Rodriguez. Like Neil Brown's last year, that secondary, and I've covered major college football, I've covered the NFL, I've covered great football, I've covered really bad football, high school as well mixed in there. And West Virginia's secondary in Neil Brown's last season is maybe the worst secondary I've ever covered. And just as a football fan and football guy, one of the worst I've ever watched. It was really, 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 really bad. And that was the year after they won 9 games, the year after they won the Mayo Bowl, and the year after they proved doubters wrong. They then got worse. They did make a bowl game, but that secondary is why they weren't more, and that was just a really, 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 really rough secondary. Last year also was a problem. And last year, despite bringing Zach Alley in from Oklahoma and that being a big coup as a future head coach and as an assistant coach, I do believe in him as a D coordinator. They had a great run earlier in the season. Like with Chase Wilson and others, they were really physical. They had some great games defensively early in the year, but the offense was so bad it didn't matter, and they didn't win, like the road game at Ohio. That was a big stain for the program. But then the defense got really, really, really bad at the end of the year, and nothing mattered at all. I do think they're going to be better around the defensive line and even linebackers, but secondary is still a question, still a problem. And if they don't get that fixed in the conference like the Big 12, even now in this iteration, that will be a problem. But I do think, guys, that the reason why I push back on maybe the 13th or 12th prediction, the way the conference works, if their offense is what Rich Rod expects and Cam Cook does what he's supposed to and the offensive line does what it's supposed to, and whether it's Scotty Fox or Michael Hawkins under center at QB, they're both dual threats, and they do what they're supposed to, nothing's a guarantee, but that should probably give you 2 more wins, even if the defense is not better. They were in a couple of those games when they won 4 games that would have moved them to 6, and they had the most injuries in the conference. So assuming health too, again, they should be more respectable, maybe could even get 7 overall victories, which would be a big step from where it was. But yeah, the defense will eventually hold them back and will need to be way better. A lot of pressure on Zach Alley even in his career. I mean, I'm saying he's a future head coach. You guys have said that. People nationally have said that. He's groomed to be a future head coach. If he's at West Virginia Power 4 for two years in a row and the defense is really, really bad both years, eventually something's going to go on him.
Mike, who do you think the quarterback's going to be?
I think right now Scotty Fox, who is the incumbent, has the edge. I think he's the 1A to the 1B of the competition right now. If I had to bet money, I do think Scotty Fox would start tomorrow if Rich Rod had to make this decision right now. I know people roll their eyes and they never believe there's really quarterback competitions because of NIL and who's getting paid what. Anyone who knows Rich Rodriguez, there is one. I truly believe right now there still is one, and it will linger into fall camp, and there was one in the spring, and this is maybe more of a legit one than even last year when you had Jalen Henderson coming in, who was out of shape and wasn't ready and was kind of rusty. I think Scotty Fox has the edge if he is fully healthy, and he showed a little bit last year. However, my opinion is that Michael Hawkins provides a higher ceiling for this year's team and for the future of the program, and they both have multiple years of eligibility left. Michael Hawkins is a 4-star recruit. He's somebody from Oklahoma that Oklahoma wanted at one point. He's also a dual threat. He fits the Rich Rodriguez mold for sure. Maybe even more athletic than Scotty Fox. Scotty Fox might be faster, but Hawkins might be overall the higher ceiling player if he can fix maybe his accuracy as a thrower. And he looks in shape. Unlike Henderson a year ago, he looks in shape. He looks ready to go. He looks like a more muscular Pat White out there. And I'm not saying he's Pat White, but he fits what Rich Rod wants to do. So I wouldn't be shocked that if Scotty Fox starts and he falters, Hawkins goes in early in the season. This is year 2, not 1. There's pressure on Rich Rod to win now. They have some big games early in the year, certainly week 3 on without a conference game, which is big for the Big 12 even, facing Virginia in Charlotte. Like, I don't think they're going to mess around if it's looking rough with Scotty Fox early. And I also imagine both of these QBs will play. I mean, Rich Rod has literally said that he will play everybody that has a ability and is deserving and is worthy and good enough to help you win right away. That includes the QBs, and he has brought up numerous times that he is not against doing what Florida did a decade and a half ago in the early run of Tim Tebow in their first national title, where Tim Tebow was really the 1B and got in at times, and that caused the defense's fits, and then he became the legend the year later doing it himself. Rich Rod's not against doing that. He's compared that multiple times. So I would imagine seeing both of them, even if they're both healthy. But right now, I would predict Scotty Fox. But if it's me, if I'm doing this and I'm not a future potential borderline Hall of Fame coach like Rich Rod, who's godfather of the offense, I could see a higher ceiling out of Michael Hawkins Jr.
Mike Asti, managing editor for WV Sports Now. Mike, thanks for your time as always. Be well.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Have a great holiday, great rest of your summer, and happy to do it. And let me know if you want me to jump on again for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Will do, bud. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. All right, let's get
day.
into it next and see if West Virginia or Colorado deserves that 11th spot in our consensus poll. It's Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio. We are presented by Modelo, and the consensus continues next.
Bachmeier delivers, caught miraculously by Chase Roberts.
Comfortable in the pocket here. Chase Roberts turning it, coming the other way, inside the 30, and Chase Roberts.
And it is a bookstore, but it's really a museum.
Well, they might put that one in the museum one day.
Good catch by Chase Roberts at BYU. 5 minutes to go in the first. Bachmeier surveys, pulls, touchdown Cougars. Mr. BYU, Chase Roberts.
Off the RPO, what a strike. Chase Roberts chugging across the 40, tight ropes the sideline, and finally pulled down by Darian Lewis at the 4-yard line.
Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio. We are presented by Modelo. This is the consensus. Reaching a consensus on our Big 12 today preseason Big 12 poll. James, this is the third day for West Virginia here. I don't know what more we can say. Let me just start here. So at this point, we've got it figured out. It's either going to be West Virginia or Colorado. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's fair. I actually have West Virginia higher.
Where do you have
11th.
West Virginia?
I believe I have them 9th in my poll.
So this is probably the largest discrepancy that you and I have here. I have West Virginia 13th.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I believe UCF has a better year this year, and I've mentioned partly because I think West Virginia got multiple year transfers. UCF got impactful guys right away. I think the way West Virginia is building, if they can retain these guys in 26, will be much better and maybe even in position to win a Big 12 championship in 27.
Mm-hmm. So you think they're a year away?
Yeah. I think they're a year away from being a year away.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, when you look at the small history of this 16 Big 12 team conference, 2 years ago you had Arizona State, who went from 3 wins the year before to winning a Big 12 championship. Last year you had 2 teams that were 4-8 the previous season, win at least 9, and Houston won 10. So as we go through this exercise, I wanted to identify a team as a breakthrough unit. West Virginia is that team for me. And history would indicate that somebody that won 3 or 4 games last year is going to finish even higher than 9th, maybe even top 5 in the Big 12. And off the top, like West Virginia was 4-1 last year when they had 350 yards of total offense. That's not even a very high benchmark. When they were held below 350, they went 0-7. So the offense was anemic last season. And then I look at the late season surge that they had. They won 2 of their 4 games in the final 4 weeks. They went 2-2 in their last 4, and their 2 losses were by a combined 8 points to TCU and Arizona State. And one of those 2 wins came against a top 5 Big 12 team on the road when they went to Houston, hung 45 on the Cougars. And all of that happened when Scotty Fox finally solidified himself as the starting quarterback. His numbers aren't eye-popping, but for a true freshman to have more touchdowns than he had interceptions, with Cam Cook at running back, with Rick Trinket on the offensive line, who him and Brendan Marion are the 2 most impactful assistant coaching hires, I believe, in this league. That's why, just off the top, I highlighted West Virginia as that dark horse team.
Okay, so let's go back to your 350 total yards comment. So are you suggesting that if West Virginia had gotten 350 yards in every game, they would have been 12-0 and won the Big 12?
Not exactly 12-0. What I'm
11-1.
saying is
10-2, 9-3.
Last year, they had a lot of close losses. Even with, the point I'm making is, even as bad as the offense was, and the passing defense, the mess that it was, they were still in games. And so if the talent upgrade is there, which I believe it is, they have the best recruiting class in school history. They have brought in 20 offensive linemen. They have 20 offensive linemen on this roster, 11 that are over 300 pounds. Mike Asti just talked about get that inch. They couldn't get that inch last year. They were vastly undersized compared to Big 12 defensive lines. That's not a thing anymore. 11 300-pound dudes in the trenches for Rick Trickett to operate with. The scheme, I think, works. The personnel was not there last year. With the nation's leading rusher at tailback, I think they've upgraded at receiver. They've definitely upgraded at quarterback, which was a disaster last year, playing 5 different dudes.
Yeah.
Like, offensively, I see enough where they can get to a bowl definitely, which is why I have them in my top 9.
Here's what Rich Rod said about the difference in building a roster year 2 versus year 1.
It's different challenges now. You still have to establish the culture. We took so many transfer guys last year, and I think we kind of had to because where we were at and we were late in the process. This year we intentionally took a lot more high school guys because we wanted guys. We don't have 40-some seniors that are going to be one and done. We've got 21 or 22 seniors, and everybody else are guys that we want to have now and we want to keep and finish their careers here. So I think we're able to build it the way I wanted to, and we should get better every year. If we're doing our job as coaches, we'll be better this year than we were last year. And then we'll be better in 2 years than we were this year, I think. So, but I think in ways you can correct some mistakes or get better in a hurry, but that takes money, a lot of money. And we have more than we had a year ago. But we don't have that kind of mess around money where you can make a whole bunch of mistakes. It don't matter because you're paying that guy just as much money. You're going to be okay. So it's a different dynamic.
And I get that, transfer portal players are always a crapshoot. But to Rich Rod's point, he got hired and put in a position where they just had to build a team last year. And so taking kind of these jack-of-all-trades, master-of-none type players just to build a roster and to finish the way that they did was eye-opening to me. And then the Rick Trickett piece. So he was with Rich Rod from 01 to 06 at West Virginia. Then he goes with him to Jacksonville State. His first year with Rich Rod at Jack State, they go from being like in the 80s in rushing offense to top 5 nationally. The last time that these three were united, Cook at running back, Trickett on the offensive line, and Rich Rod, they won a conference championship game at Jacksonville State and were one of the best group of 5 schools in the country. He won a national championship at Florida State. Like, we've talked a lot about his resume and his body of work. I just see massive improvement on the offensive line, which for West Virginia in that scheme and that system, that's where it all starts.
Yeah, I mean, look, I do have confidence. I'm with you on Rick Trickett as a hire. And just, like, forget about the history of Trickett and just the fact that there's history with Rich Rod. And Rich Rod said this offseason, like, he knows the way that I want things taught. That's such an important – when you hear that kind of stuff from a coach, whereas, like, you get to fall camp, sometimes coaches have to coach the coaches. Head coach has to coach position coaches. Hey, this is how I want it done. Well, last year you could go back and rewrite history and be like, that was an absolute mess. Like, how they even won a few games is how they beat Pitt is a miracle.
Yep.
I'm confident in their offensive line. I'm somewhat confident in Cam Cook, and I'm buying the Michael Hawkins hype in terms of just the profile. The offense is going to be improved. But how much? And is the defense going to be improved? And enough to where it offsets, the issues that they have, and especially their secondary. That to me is the holdup here is, are you going to have to score 38 every game to win? We talked about this yesterday with Baylor. Baylor had to score 38 every week to win a game because their defense was so bad. Is West Virginia be in the same position? And that's where it's like, okay, if your defense was a little bit better, I'd have confidence in it. But the fact is, like, I don't even think with this offense the way it is, you could score 38.
So their total defense last year, they were 15th. They were 15th in passing defense.
Which is yardage.
Right.
Not
and efficiency, passing efficiency defense.
15th out of 16 in the Big 12.
In basically just about every defensive category.
And who is 16? Baylor?
Cincinnati in total defense. This is in league games only. And then passing defense, Oklahoma State. Only Oklahoma State was worse.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
God, shocking that Oklahoma State was not worse in all of these categories, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and outside of Oklahoma State, I think talent-wise, like West Virginia was probably the second worst team in the league.
Brendan Sorsby would like everybody to know that Cincinnati had the worst total defense in the Big 12 last year.
Boy, would he ever. All right, so let's talk about the defense a little. Even with all those really, really gnarly bad stats, they were top 5 in the Big 12 in tackles for loss. They were 6th in the Big 12 in sacks. That 3-3-5 with kind of that hybrid bandit edge type guy was a very problematic system in terms of getting after the quarterback.
Right.
The secondary, I think, was more of a personnel thing versus a scheme thing. So I went and I looked at their personnel. They brought in the top defensive back from Wisconsin, who only transferred to West Virginia because his little brother signed as a true freshman at running back. Matt Sieg, the highly touted flip from Penn State, I don't think is a starter right away, even though most projected depth charts have him as a starter. They brought in one of the top 5 group of 5 safeties in the country in the Wilson kid from Memphis, who elected to go to West Virginia versus following his coach at Arkansas, which tells me how much West Virginia valued him. And then they've brought in a ton of JUCO transfers who are experienced guys. Rich Rod did this at Jacksonville State and completely overhauled the defense. I think junior college players in today's era is a market inefficiency. So I see just way more depth in the secondary than we did a season ago.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that. I mean, Sieg, I'm willing to buy from a talent perspective. I mean, last year's roster, like, I was sold the same bill of goods in terms of well, there's a bunch of new players and the scheme is different, and the result was the same. I mean, it's basically this is the third straight year of the exact same approach. The only difference is this is not a scheme change, but it's the third straight year of the exact same approach of like, let's just replenify the roster with personnel and that will change things. Ultimately, I think they've got to figure out a way to manufacture more pressure. I think, that's where this issue with the secondary really showed itself, was just way too long for quarterbacks to sit back there and pick the secondary apart. It was just a bad combination, and I don't know that you have enough depth, quote-unquote, or talent to overcome that.
And part of this is me banking on their portal class being much more impactful than it was last year because of when Rich Rod got hired, how he had to piece together a roster. He's had an entire year and a half now to bring in his type of guys.
And like you tell me, sorry, but you tell me like 20 offensive linemen with Rick Trickett, I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
There's a history here. There's a depth where it's like, I'm just going to throw a bunch of guys the problem and get it solved with a guy that knows how to get it solved. I don't buy that in the secondary.
Right. And so one theme that I've noticed with their secondary is they appear to be bigger and longer, kind of like Arizona recruits in the secondary. Like Damon Allen, 6'3" corner, JUCO All-American. Jair Rollison. Jacob Bradford is a transfer from LSU. Cameron Riddick was an FCS All-American at Stephen F. Austin. So they kind of have this blend of really unproven guys, right? Highly touted prospects, LSU-type transfers, paired with guys that were really productive, albeit in high school in the case of Matt Sieg, or at a place like Stephen F. Austin. How does that come together? Yes, that is the number one red flag and biggest question that I have. But I see the offense being uber explosive, whether it's Fox at quarterback, Hawkins at quarterback, with Cook at running back, and that rebuilt offensive line. And we haven't even talked about the receivers, who are way better. Jaden Bray was their best receiver last year, and he only played in 2 games because he got hurt. He elected to come back, and they have brought in height and athleticism and speed, and I really like that room as being overlooked too.
That's James Westling. I'm Ari Temkin. This is the consensus. We're trying to reach consensus here on team number 11 and 10. The question is, who goes 11, who goes 10? Is it Colorado, is it West Virginia? We're answering that question next. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. We are presented by Modelo, heard on TuneIn and watched on Big 12 Studios.
Extended drive brings up a 3rd and goal. Stats crew.
This is the consensus. We are taking a look and getting a consensus amongst the show on the preseason poll here. We've got consensus on Cincinnati at 16, Iowa State at 15, Kansas at 14, UCF at 13, Baylor at 12. Now trying to figure out who 11 is. I've been making the case for West Virginia the last few days. You have West Virginia significantly higher than I do, which is why we're still talking to West Virginia. Colorado was introduced yesterday and could very well be in the 11 spot. Anybody else, James, you want to maybe make a case for here?
Yeah, I would throw Oklahoma State into the conversation. Shock.
Gasps.
We don't talk about this stuff during breaks at all, never. And my reasoning behind it has less to do with personnel, more to do with it's really hard to win year one in the Big 12. Kenny Dillingham won 3 games. Willie Fritz won 4. Scott Frost and Rich Rod won 4 and 5. Brent Brennan won 3 or 4. And I think that we are blinded in some ways by how challenging it is because of what Curt Cignetti did at Indiana with James Madison. Took his whole team with him, transfer quarterback. They're in the college football playoff year one. Eric Morris, Drew Mestemaker's a dude. He's legit. But Eric Morris had 3 really good elite top 5 passing efficiency quarterbacks all 3 years that he was at North Texas. Pre-Drew Mestemaker, Chandler Rogers in year 1 had 30 touchdowns and 3 picks. Chandler Morris in year 2 transfers to Virginia. And then Mestemaker. And even in those other 2 seasons prior to last year's breakthrough, they went 5-7 and 6-7. Why? Because they really, really struggled to slow opposing offenses down. They were bad on defense. I have a lot of concerns, kind of like West Virginia, with Oklahoma State defensively, because the one team that was worst last year in the Big 12 on that side of the ball than West Virginia was Oklahoma State. So have they done enough on that side of the ball for them to win games?
Do you think that Oklahoma State should be 11th?
No, I had Colorado 11th. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they only won 1 Big 12 game last year. The fact that they've got 2 new coordinators, albeit I think they're both upgrades. And then we just never know with Coach Prime what the portal class is going to do. Like last year's hype around the portal class was more than the year before, and they weren't as good. So I know they're top 20 nationally, and that's exciting, but I see more holes with Colorado that they have to fill.
Here's what Deion Sanders said about the difficulty he's had in building a program at Colorado.
I'm not going to say that. We made some tremendous mistakes at certain positions that derailed us a year ago. The first couple of years we had stability at those positions that highlighted us. So we learned quite a bit of not just talent, but understanding mentality. And mentality is something that we targeted. It's something that we sat down and interviewed and made sure not only the young men, but the parents had that type of mentality, because the parents play a tremendous role in these young men's lives.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've said all along that I think like job interviews can be kind of foolish. I think there's a confidence level that job interviewers have that they're going to get the right guy. But I do think like it's not like you shouldn't talk to them and their parents. I think that's a great approach, especially probably their parents. That may be even more impactful than talking to the kids themselves, because the kids themselves will be a product of the parenting, which is always the case.
Right. And I love Deion's approach, okay? I love this kind of we've been reborn in terms of our recruiting process narrative that he's floated out there. But with Colorado specifically, like there's one glaring red flag that I have where I see Oklahoma State and West Virginia being more complete, and that's in the trenches. Like Big 12 games, it's pretty much like even across the board. Everybody's excited about quarterback play and running backs and electric receivers, which I think could be the strength offensively of this conference. It really comes down to the guys blocking and protecting up front. In Colorado losing Jordan Seaton, yes, that gave them the budget to attack in a different way in the portal, but I don't see as much production on the line of scrimmage at Colorado as I do at West Virginia. as I do at Oklahoma State in terms of guys that have done it. There's a bunch of kind of like what we've seen from Coach Prime, highly touted high school prospects that didn't see the field at Georgia or LSU. And until they show me they can pick up a first down on the ground, I just haven't fully bought in yet.
Yeah, and the reason that I have Colorado ahead of West Virginia, the reason I put West Virginia at 11 and Colorado at 10 is because I think they've got a more known commodity at quarterback. Now, I think Hawkins fits the Rich Rod offense, and I think Juju Lewis fits the Brennan Marion offense. I think they added a much better receiving core through the portal. I think they've added better running backs through the portal, especially if we're looking at guys that are proven at this level more so than Cam Cook is. And look, I'm willing to buy the argument that West Virginia is better up front on the offensive line just based on depth and coaching. But again, I think like this is the right scheme fit for these players and personnel. And I think the fact that they didn't retain Seton isn't as much of a knock as it might appear, because I think they were able to spend more money along the offensive line to solidify every position as opposed to just having a really good left tackle, because they had a really good left tackle and bad offensive lines the last couple of years.
Yeah, totally.
I also am buying more on Colorado's defense because it was really good a couple of years ago. Well, they trimmed some fat. Warren Sapp is gone. I think they added in the portal. Like I just have more confidence in the players that were added through the portal in Colorado than I do in West Virginia. And I think, again, the quarterback position for me more solidified at Colorado than it is at West Virginia.
Mm-hmm. And I do really like Colorado's linebacking room. I do really like their defensive line. They couldn't get any pressure on opposing quarterbacks last year. They only had 9 sacks in league games. So what they did is they brought in volume on the defensive line. They brought in 8 guys that have combined for 40-plus sacks, which would put them in the top half and some in the Big 12. But the other thing I look at with these two, if like I'm comparing them side by side, is the schedule. Colorado's got a brutal, gnarly schedule where they play a ton of road games, 2 in the non-conference. West Virginia's got 7 home games. They've only got 4 true road games. Their one marquee non-conference game is on a neutral field in Charlotte against Virginia. They get Oklahoma State at home. They get Cincinnati at home. Kansas at home. Their road games are at Iowa State. Like, I see more opportunities or more games that West Virginia might be favored in than Colorado because of that brutal, gnarly schedule that Colorado has.
Here's what Deion Sanders said about the wide receiver room, which is an area I think will be a general strength for Colorado in 2026.
It's a much better room. Okay, it's a room that have accomplished a lot more. It's a room that is very unselfish. I love these young men. They blend together, but they got that thing about them, man, that they got it. Like they got that thing. They're not jealous of one another. They love the practice. They love the work. Joseph was out there talking junk on crutches. How you doing that? I said, Joseph, why you talking junk on crutches, man? You gonna get hit out here. You know, you're an easy target. He's like, Coach, you know that competitive spirit in me. Like, but I like that. I love it. So that room, to me, is tremendously explosive. You know, when we talk about what we lost, make sure you talk about what we gained. Because we gained a heck of a lot more. I think 3 times more than what we may have lost in the process. And I don't call it a loss. I call it life. This is new college life now. You know, my man Jacob moved on up like the Jefferson.
That's amazing.
Well, and you mentioned earlier Colorado had 1 conference win last year. How many did West Virginia have?
They had 2.
Yeah, and I mean, again, the circumstances surrounding Deion and you know what was around this program. You know, last year, like, it's difficult to believe they even won a game in the Big 12, quite frankly, based on, again, the fact that you had a coach, not with the program the entire offseason, who was battling cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So him being fully engaged with the team the entire offseason, spending spring ball, helping to build the roster, helping to coach the coaches. Like, I don't know if they're going to win 9 games, but I also think, like, it's obvious to see what went wrong for this team last year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You know, I do really like the wide receiver room. And I think part of it is I heard this same song and dance going into last season. We weren't going to miss Shedeur Sanders. We brought in Caden Salter. We've got a 5-star freshman in Julian Lewis. The parallel that I like from both West Virginia and Colorado is that they do have returning quarterbacks who, yes, they didn't start the entire season, but in the games they did start, they showed some really promising signs. The difference for me is how West Virginia finished the year, picking up 2 of those wins down the stretch, including a massive road win at Houston, when Houston was still in the conversation to play in Arlington for a Big 12 championship game. That really kind of spoiled their chances. And then the close losses to Arizona State and TCU, where Colorado was just getting throttled by people. And West Virginia was the most impactful or impacted team in the Big 12 when it came to injuries. Now, Colorado had their fair share, but I guess I knew West Virginia would be really down and struggle year 1 of Rich Rod. Colorado, I didn't expect the drop-off, so I'm hesitant to lean into Colorado having a major bounce-back year, even though I do like the personnel moves that they've made, especially with the coaches.
Yeah, and Colorado did lose 5 straight to end the year. West Virginia won 2 of their last 4 games, including a win at Houston, which was one of the more impressive wins all season. Then they beat Colorado and then lost at Arizona State and then got boat raced by Tech. Colorado had Utah, Arizona, West Virginia, Arizona State, K-State. So a difficult stretch for both of them. Here's what Deion Sanders said about Brennan Marion and the go-go offense.
Points per game. Everybody I interviewed, they average over 30 points per game. 30 points per game is our threshold. When we score 30 points per game, we win. When we don't, we lose. When we hold people under a certain number as well, we win. So that was huge. So everyone we brought in to interview, that was that. But I needed the toughness, that mentality.
I love the fit. I'm pretty bullish on Colorado this year. I think they're going to be a major surprise story in college football. I think you're right about West Virginia too, but for me, I'd put Colorado at 10 and West Virginia at 11.
Well, scoring over 30 points per game is a great benchmark. But giving up 53 to Utah, 52 to Arizona, and 42 to Arizona State in 3 of your last 5 games, I think the Colorado defense maybe has just as much improvement necessary for them to be competitive, to be a top 10 team in the Big 12. But with Julian Lewis and his skill set, he has the potential to be a top 5 quarterback.
Cherry picking a few games there. Interesting move there when you already identified that West Virginia was 15th in most statistical defensive categories. You didn't mention Colorado there, by the way.
Let's see. Colorado was, hang on, rushing defense last. Pass efficiency defense, they were 14th.
Better than West Virginia.
It is better than West Virginia.
Despite the 53 points they gave up to Utah.
Good point, because they couldn't stop anybody at the line of scrimmage. And that was a problem for both teams. West Virginia was a little bit better rushing the football, but yards per carry, not much. But Colorado gave up almost 6 yards per rush. Not even a little bit were they the worst rushing defense in the Big 12. There was nobody even close. They gave up more rushing touchdowns. They gave up 20 more yards than anybody else.
Yeah,
these are in Big 12 games only.
Colorado their rushing defense was as bad as West Virginia's pass defense.
Really good comp.
Colorado could not run the football and could not stop the run. West Virginia could not pass, could not run, could not stop the pass.
Now, who do you think had a better passing efficiency last year?
West Virginia.
West Virginia.
But I also think, and this is where I could have told you preseason that Caden Salter wasn't going to work, because of Pat Shurmur. I said early on in the season that I thought that Colorado needed to move on from Pat Shurmur, that it was a horrible marriage. As good as the Rich Rod Michael Hawkins marriage or the Brennan Marion Juju Lewis marriage is going to be, it was the Shurmur Salter marriage made no sense.
Yeah. And they didn't at any point really utilize him in the right way. You go from a dual threat run first quarterback who you want to be a pocket passer to the pocket passer, and then you bench him after 2 or 3 games. The quarterback carousel was rough at both places. And I think both programs have upgraded at that position. Essentially what I'm saying here is I do think we're kind of splitting hairs. I could see Colorado having a breakthrough year. But I lean West Virginia, number 1, because of their schedule, number 2, because of Trickett, and number 3, because I just trust that year 2, historically, there's been major growth for these first-year Big 12 coaches. Dillingham, Fritz, Brennan. Will it be Rich Rod or will it be Scott Frost is the other one that I think enters the chat.
All right, I think it's Colorado at 10 and West Virginia 11 because even though you're right about the schedule being tougher for Colorado than it is for West Virginia, I like the Brennan Marion hire more than Rick Trickett because it impacts the offense overall as a whole. And I think they added more talent. They were top 20, 21st in the portal. So I think they've got more talent, more high-end talent. All right, Taman, give us consensus here.
Well, I think you guys both made some good arguments. I'm going to say this. Colorado, their defense last year was not good. James brought up a good point, concerns about the trenches. Losing Jordan Seaton was big, and Colorado has a brutal schedule. With that said, I think West Virginia is the 11th seed. The reason for that, Colorado has more stability at quarterback with Julian Lewis. I think Brennan Marion's a great hire for him, Pat Shermer being gone. I think they have improved wide receivers. That wide receiver room is strong. And listen, Deion, I already brought this up, and I think this is a really good point. That story of Deion having cancer last year, I think was big on that Colorado program.
Yeah, how could it not be?
Absolutely. The fact that he's healthy, and when I bring up the stability at quarterback, Deion has proven when he did have Shedeur, they had some stability overall as a team. Their run game should be better. And I know James brought up the notion, well, he heard the same thing last year, but last year's not this year. No offense. But, like, the fact
Wow, I'm very offended. I've never been more offended by anything in my life.
Brennan Marion is better than Pat Shermer.
I'm going to throw this shoe at your face.
Do it.
I will kick you right between the teeth.
So, yes, I have West Virginia at 11, Colorado.
Can I just make one more point?
No offense, James, but no.
The composite transfer portal rankings that factor in players lost and players gained, West Virginia's top 5 in the Big 12.
Wow.
Colorado 7th. I'll give you that. Julian Lewis for Heisman. Fine. I can't wait. You guys got to eat that crow, and West Virginia's balling out this year.
Well, you got to eat that crow, and UCF is balling out this year. It's Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio. We've reached consensus number 11. It is the West Virginia Mountaineers. After 3 straight days of making the case for West Virginia. Cincinnati at 16, Iowa State at 15, Kansas 14, UCF 13, Baylor 12th, and West Virginia 11th. Never seen James more animated in arguing over anything other than Colorado at 11.
I've never been more angry in my life.
We'll let Deion know.
Yeah.
We'll let Deion know when we see him at Media Days.
Please do.
All right, we'll see who consensus will be.
Wait for that sit-down one-on-one with him, by the way.
Or do we have consensus at number 10? Is it Colorado number 10, or are you going to make a case for Oklahoma State?
No, I had Colorado at 11. Slot Colorado into number 10.
All right, so we have consensus in Colorado at 10 as well?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
Somebody's angry.
So then we'll move on next week on Monday to number 9.
Hey, man, I'm personally offended. Okay?
All right, so we'll reset the deck.
Shots at my family.
Monday. Offending me.
Said something about my education level. Referenced my 7-inch shorts. Like, geez, Taman.
That's
Chill
personal.
out, bro.
It's personal.
Yeah.
Now it's getting
always
personal.
personal.
Yeah, that's right. Making fun of your kid who wouldn't go out there for the performance.
Yeah,
I thought
like,
that was a bit odd.
What the heck, dude?
Yeah.
Chill out, bro.
Yeah.
Oops.
It's Big 12
Stage
today.
fright's a thing.
Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio, presented by Modelo. Heard on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios.
Sorsby taking a shot. Touchdown, Cincinnati. Myrie connecting for a touchdown. Sorsby hits Cyrus Allen for the second time today.
And again, his confidence is growing.
Hart always said to commit to a school, not a coach. That's why he has persevered in Cincinnati. Now he'll launch for the end zone. Perfectly thrown ball. Touchdown, Cyrus Allen.
Jimmy's got it. Laser for a touchdown. Cyrus Allen. Cincinnati back on the high side.
Great start to 5-1, equaling the win total from last season. Out of empty on first down.
Sorsby to Allen across the middle. Broken tackle. Touchdown.
Cincinnati strikes first.
Done, thank you. We start the second with an option pitch. Around the edge, Cyrus Allen is in. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
It's Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio. We are presented by Modelo, heard on TuneIn and watched on Big 12 Studios, along with James Westling. I'm Ari Temkin. Let's talk with our friend Fran Fraschilla. Nobody knows college basketball in the Big 12 more than Fran, and he'll be part, of course, ESPN's coverage of the NBA draft next week. Fran, how are you?
Ari, phenomenal. Beautiful day in Colorado Springs, nice and sunny. By the way, I'm watching the under-17 USA team that's going to Istanbul on Monday for the World Cup, the under-17 World Championships. I watch these guys, and I would say 10 future NBA players are going to be on that team.
Wow. Give us some names, Fran. Who are the guys to watch?
Oh, man, Beckham Black from Dallas. You know, Anthony Black's brother is phenomenal. Young man Xavier Young from Faith Family Christian School. That's a Dallas, like South Dallas charter school, I think. He's a big 6'8" kid. A lot of kids, a lot of players will be interested in going to the Big 12.
6'8", under 17.
Yeah. Oh no, these kids are tremendous. But Beckham Black is one of the headliners. He's a great, Anthony's brother. That's a Dallas connection right there. And Beckham is a tremendous point guard.
Is Beckham going to Cal? Is he going to go with Cal?
I don't know. That part I haven't gotten far on. But really good group. Jamal Crawford's son is going to make the team. JJ. Eric Dampier's son, Eric Jr., is a good player. Eric and I talked yesterday. He's still got a home in Dallas. Eric Jr. is going to be a good player. So, yeah, lots of talent.
Is Eric Jr. in Dallas?
No.
Okay.
The family, they actually do, all of them do live back in Mississippi. But Eric Sr. told me he still has an apartment in Dallas and tries to get back. And, of course, as you know, as a Mavs fan, he's fairly well respected as a guy that poured his heart and soul out for the Mavs.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, Fran, who do you think goes number one overall? The Big 12 looking to solidify the number 1 and number 2 picks for what would be the first time in conference history.
I think the safe pick is with Washington is AJ, and not only because of that he's got a clean resume in terms of from start to finish. He was one of the couple best players in the country, led the country in scoring. But that's actually in this draft. Like last year, you could have had 4 great power forwards on your team, and you still were taking Cooper Flagg because he was so much better than everybody else. But in this draft, with Washington particularly, they have a lot of pieces in the backcourt. They have a lot of young guys. Obviously, they've added Trey Young, who I do think will sign there. And so I think AJ fits perfectly at small forward for that young team, 8 guys under 22. And then the next question is, with Darren Peterson not working out in Utah, means nothing, by the way, guys. Utah's done their homework, but how does Darren Peterson fit in with, our guy Keontae George? How does he fit in with that big front line? Why would you take Boozer if you're going to re-sign Kessler and you already have Markkanen, JJJ, Jaren Jackson Jr.? So a lot of moving pieces, but I think at the top it's AJ and then Darren.
Is that, if you were the GM, is that how you would do it? And obviously, that means a lot to me, carries a lot of weight because of how much you watched and how much, insider knowledge you'll have about it.
Yeah, the great thing about this draft, Ari, and I predicted, I was telling Taman, our producer, that I think there's going to be 9 Big 12 guys going to first round, and we can talk about that. But the beauty, and I think 15 or 16 overall, when you think of Baba Miller in a second. By the way, I'm going to tell you something. Don't be surprised, and we'll get back to the top of the draft. Do not be surprised if somebody like Jaden Bradley or Baba Miller sneaks into the back end of the first round, because so many guys went back. And like Richie Saunders, I don't think this is going to happen, but there might be a team that loves Richie Saunders enough to take him 30th, for example. But I get to know these kids so well over the course of their careers, and sometimes it's just 1 year, that I think I have a good feel for the background information, what kind of kids they are. There's no real baggage on AJ, and there's really no baggage on Darren minus the whole cramping stuff. But AJ is so solid that I'm putting my head on the pillow at night if I'm the Washington Wizards and I take AJ Dybantsa. And I did not see him take one practice off this year. And I think his game actually elevated even after Richie Saunders got hurt on February 14th.
Yeah, that's well said. And I think people overlook just how elite he is defensively on ball as well.
Yeah.
Fran, another topic that we debated earlier, who will be the first Big 12 player not named A.J. DeBonsa or Darren Peterson that gets selected? Is it Kingston Flemings or is it Braden Burries?
Well, the interesting thing, James, is after 4, with Wilson going to Chicago,
It's wheels off.
yeah, I got to tell you, let's take the 4 point guards, and I'll probably forget somebody, but Kingston, Acuff, Mikael Brown, and Keaton Wagler, and then you throw the combo guard in, Braden Burries. Man, that's Baskin Robbins, man. I walk into Baskin Robbins. Some nights I want Rocky Road, other nights I want Baseball Nut. Blue Ribbon ain't bad. I go with that every now and then. So I love them all. But if you ask me, I think Kingston will go. Like, I could see Kingston going to Brooklyn. I could see him going 8 to Atlanta. But I got to tell you now, Braden Burries is going to be really good too, man. I think if Dallas is lucky to pair him with Kyrie in the backcourt with Cooper Flagg, that's a great kind of combination of, okay, we can be good this year, but we got 2 pieces to build around, for the future, assuming Kyrie's only there for the next couple of years.
Fran Fraschilla joining us here on Big 12 Today, Big 12 Radio, presented by Modelo. Heard on TuneIn and watched on Big 12 Studios. All right, Fran, so 9 Big 12 players in the first round?
Yeah, I think so. I think, we know about, and I'm see if I do this off the top of my head, okay? Flemings, Chris Sinak, I love, somewhere in the teens. Cam Carr, somewhere in the teens, one of the best athletes in the draft. Christian Anderson, a lot of people are really warming up to him, even though he's a smaller guard. He's the same size as Darius Garland. This kid Brunson in New York, remember him? Former Mav, by the way. Tyrese Maxey, Dallas kid, South Garland. So Christian Anderson. I think Joshua Jefferson's going to fit into the first round because of the versatility of his game, great passing, rebounding, forward. I think he'll be the 9th guy. I might be forgetting somebody, but I think I got 9 already. And then again, like early second round, Baba Miller, Richie Saunders, and my favorite, one of my favorites this year, to cover, Jaden Bradley.
Yeah, and I'll say, Fran, Brunson and Bridges make me feel a little bit better about Kansas in 2018 against Nova in the Final Four at
Those
San
guys were good.
Antonio.
Yeah, no, I was there because my son Matt was assistant coach.
Oh, that's right.
He was there at Villanova. I couldn't believe it, and
It was unbelievable. I was there too. It was like an onslaught. It was crazy.
well, I think we all look back. I think it's funny. You just gave me a tweet. I thought that Villanova 18 team was one of the couple best teams of the decade.
Yeah.
That decade. Now, when you think about what those 3, well, actually, Josh Hart was gone by then because he was in the league by then. But when you look at Brunson and Bridges, particularly DiVincenzo,
Oh my goodness.
that's you could see why the Villanova imprint on that Knicks team was so palpable. That's a good word there.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and little known fact, so Texas Tech had the closest game with Villanova in that tournament, and then that was
In
the Texas
Boston.
Tech team that went on to play for the national championship.
I was there, and I had mixed feelings because I'm obviously rooting for my son, but without a doubt, Texas Tech. In fact, it was like an 8-point game, Ari.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It never got
Wasn't
to. I
even
don't think
close.
it got to. Yeah, but they definitely played the best of any team, I think, against Nova, and I was there, Elite 8.
Yeah.
Fran, when you look at some of these prospects, you brought up Cameron Carr. Really
Yeah.
glad you did. He's just got an incredible wingspan.
Yep.
He's flying up the draft boards. So my question is, like, with him and Yesufu, how did Baylor struggle so much last year?
Well, I'd say a couple things. Number one, they had a couple big guys get hurt, right? They had the 2, Bodo and the Perez, the Italian kid. They got hurt. They redshirted Soroye, who's a big kid from New Jersey, played at the same high school as Donovan Mitchell, Blair Academy. So they had no big guys. And I really think the other thing, quite honestly, James, they didn't have the NIL money to go and poach guys. So they had a lot of mid-major guys. Now Isaac Williams grew into a really nice player, and I think now he signed a 2-year deal, so I think he's there for the duration. And then I think Yesufu, as much as I like Tunde, just didn't play the way, like, I don't want to say he was selfish, but he didn't know how to play with others, in the sandbox, as you say. And so it's going to be interesting to see how he does at St. John's, because he was a high school power forward, but I think primarily there was some injury issues and then also NIL issues. That seems to be rectified at Baylor. But now let's go back to Cam Carr. He's got 2 incredibly elite skills for the league. Number 1, he's got deep range. Number 2, he's one of the best athletes in this draft. And he's also a great defender. He blocks more jump shots last year than anybody in college basketball. It's ridiculous. You think you got an open shot, and with his athleticism and length comes out of nowhere and, blocks your shot, which is really hard for somebody to block a jump shot all the time.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to say yes or no here. You could just totally avoid answering the question here. But since you brought up your son James, who's a coach for the Wizards, who has the first pick.
Go ahead.
Do you know who's going to be the number 1 pick? 1 and 2. Do they know right now?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Listen, he's been out here to see me and his mom in Colorado to play some golf a couple times since the end of the season. If you know anything about Oklahoma City, I mean, and I say this because Washington is OKC East. Will Dawkins, former assistant GM,
Yeah.
Michael Winger was the president of the Wizards. We talk nothing. So, honestly, they're the CIA. He doesn't want me to talk to him. I don't ask. So no, he gets mad when he's even mad I'm on the draft. Like, hey, dude, I got a job too, okay?
Right.
Yeah. But no, we don't talk about it. And I don't need to talk to him about it because I have enough inside information around college basketball.
Right.
And that one's pretty easy. It's either going to be AJ,
right,
Darren, and it might be Boozer, and I'd be prepared for all 3 if that happens.
Oh, wow. And, I mean, and quite honestly, like, he's got a pretty good resource in you. You watch all of the games in the Big 12. Like, it feels like...
Let me tell you something about that. You make a good point, but I'm going to tell you that when you talk about Kansas and BYU this year with the 2 top guys, every single time I did a game this season at one of those places, one of the tanking teams had scouts there.
Yeah. Yep.
So, like, I bet the Wizards, the Pacers, Brooklyn, and Utah.
They also saw all those games.
Yeah, and they're also doing the background.
Yeah, great point. Yeah.
And I may have a little more background because I get to know the kids a little better, but there's really very few secrets with those top kids.
That's a great point.
Fran, I didn't hear Koa Pete's name when you were first-round player.
Yes, I love that kid, man. Something happened with him, and I don't want to get into too much into the weeds, but somebody changed his shot after the season, and in Chicago, the combine, apparently he looked like a guy that was a lefty shooting righty for the first time.
Wow.
I don't know what happened. All I know is I dove back into the video. I've talked to some NBA friends. He's dropping probably into the 20s, but I'm a big fan of Koa Pete's, man. First of all, do you guys realize let's go back to the first game of his career against Florida, 37-5, 30 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Do you guys realize he was the most outstanding player of the West Regional? Everybody's making it sound like he just started playing basketball.
Yeah, you're right.
He's the winningest USA basketball player at the junior level in history. He won 4 state titles. And despite the fact that the shot at the moment might be broken, I saw him make mid-range shots all year. I saw it in high school. And if you're drafting him to shoot threes right now, that's not happening. But his energy and athleticism, man, anywhere after 18 for me, which will be a playoff team, I just love that kid's will to win, athleticism. And so he's getting knocked pretty hard, guys, but he's going in the first round.
Yeah, Fred, it's funny with Koa because it feels like when the season started, he burst, onto the radar because of some of the games he had, and then it's like now there's an overcorrection here where it's like it's gone so far the other direction.
Yeah.
And I mean, I see a guy that's going to be there's the pedigree, there's the genes for me that he checks a lot of boxes.
Well, don't forget too, there's more mock drafts this year than I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
And more people doing draft stuff on Twitter.
Yep.
And 99% of the people, hey, not knocking them. That's the draft industrial complex. It's actually getting like NFL, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of outside noise. But most people are not on the inside of these NBA draft rooms. Most of these people, they don't know. And so I out here at Colorado Springs USA Basketball this week, there are a number of scouting friends that were here from NBA teams, and a couple of them said, man, don't worry about it. We love Koa Pete. And again, is he going to go in the top 15? Maybe not. But I think a team like, let's just take the New York Knicks, for example, at 24. Come on, man. He doesn't fit in with that culture.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. He's going to end up with a playoff team and may be better off for it.
Yeah, great
Should
point.
he have gone back? Maybe. But at the end of the day, I believe in Koa Pete, and I think he's going to be a good NBA player.
Yeah. All right, Fran, we know you're locked in the draft, but give us your way too early preseason favorite of the Big 12. Is it Arizona?
Probably right now, yeah, because of Karchenkov, Krivas. I like what they've done in the transfer portal, Derek Dixon. They're probably still one more guy. They might add an international big, from what I hear. But I really like where they're going. I think Baylor's going to be better for sure. BYU be sneaky. West Virginia, watch out for them. Miles Sadler, we're going to be talking about him next year, the little guard from Canada. Kansas, Tyron Stokes, of course, probably a top 3 pick next year. Oh, by the way, Caleb Holt at Arizona.
Yes.
Top 3 pick next year. He will be Jaden Bradley on steroids in the backcourt. Let's put it that way. Super talent, great defender, great athlete. Braden. How about this combination of Braden Burries and Jaden Bradley? How's that?
Oof. Wow.
Yeah.
Make sure to watch and listen to Fran as part of the NBA draft coverage on ESPN throughout the draft. Fran, you're the best. Appreciate you very much. It's great to check in with you this summer, man. Be well.
All right, sounds good. You guys have a great summer. We'll catch up soon.
You too, bud.
See you,
Take care.
Fran.
Thank you. Little word to the wise. If you hear Fran say something maybe could happen, like he just kind of threw in there with Arizona, like, yeah, they might be interested in adding another international big. Just file that away.
Arizona.
Fran's got some knowledge here on this stuff, and he's not gonna break the story, but he's telling you Arizona's going to add an international big here.
Well, and nobody has better feel for the international leagues and prospects than Fran. He spends a lot of time over there. He's very zeroed in on that part of the world and what it has meant to college basketball. BYU's the other team. I'm really intrigued by what Kevin Young has kind of been hinting towards, in that BYU's in lockstep, I believe is the terminology he used, with a quality big that they're really excited about. They feel like that is the one missing piece. Rob Wright is back. They've got a top 5 prospect in Bruce Branch III. But what were they missing last year? A quality big that could score on the interior, and that's what they are hunting for this offseason.
Well, defense, defensive physicality, I think, are the 2 things that I've got to see from BYU before I'm believing in it quite yet. That's James Westling. I'm Ari Tepkin. It's Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. We are presented by Modelo, heard on TuneIn and watched on Big 12 Studios.
Fleming's got some space, and he throws it down. Wow! Kingston Fleming's explosive to the hole.
He's never seen anybody with this burst. Rebound, and it's Atwell. He steps through, and it's blocked away by Fleming. Just amazing, the athleticism at the rim. They're going to check it. I'm not so sure.
Mabel Marua returns from the bench. There's a dunk from Kingston Flemings. Oh, my. Woo. Boy, he threw that down quick.
Side, they didn't offer to help at all. Fleming's great pass, and Sanak dunks it home.
Keep it simple. Make the smart play. That's not one of them.
Stolen away. 2-on-1. Sharp, step back three, good!
Here, there's going to be a trap, and it's already been thrown, and the ball is not completed, and that leads to Emmanuel Sharp.
Fleming's way downtown. Got it! Oh, boy.
This is actually really good defense by Karchenkov.
Run, it's now a 10-point cushion. Burks, the iron downright rude to him. He's had two halfway down the cylinder and out.
Is that worse than unkind?
It is. Especially when that happens on the back end.
Now Fleming's recognizing there's a mismatch with Bowl and takes him and able to score that one over the top. Again, those mismatches are there all over the floor.
Flemings, he can create space for that forward. And he does right away.
Absolutely magnificent.
And the ability to be able to deliver with either hand, impressive.
He'll likely get plenty of practice doing that today as
Fleming's on the lob inside to Chris Sidak.
Folks, watch as the basketball enters the paint. All of a sudden, Bobby Miller jumps up there and it opens up the backside. And what a beautiful read and pass by Kingston Flemings.
It's Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio. We were so close, James. We were so close.
We were or we are?
We were so close. We were so close. To the end. And then Brendan Sorsby's agent had to drag us back in.
Oh, God.
We were so close, James. It was over. It was done. The Sorsby saga had come to its dramatic conclusion. It was over. And then Ron Slavin, Sorsby's agent, had to drag us back in. Our friends at 105.3 The Fan had Ron Slavin on as a guest yesterday, and here is what he said.
You know, you have to be careful of some things just because of all the people involved. And the people I feel worst for, besides Brendan, is Texas Tech. And I know they might have, I think where they messed up was they talked too much. But nobody knew any of this about Brendan. Nobody knew when he was in the portal this was happening. I mean, Brendan probably should have gone in the draft in January, right, if we would have known, but nobody knew. So the people at Tech have been great, very supportive. Joy McGuire, I think, is one of the best human beings on the planet. He's a lot of head coaches are transactional. He is not. And they didn't do anything wrong here. If anybody should be questioned or be catching heat, it should be Cincinnati, because they knew for 2 years and never said anything and didn't do anything about it. So that's the part of the story that gets lost. And again, it's like, this is a 22-year-old kid who doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. He's had 2 girlfriends his entire life. He's at church every Sunday. He's a great human being, and I guess his biggest fault might be he's too giving. When I say that, his involvement with some of his friends and the predatory world of gambling, where you turn 18 and deposit $5, you get a free 100, and every single show on TV and every single radio show, everything is sponsored by a gambling site. So it's a scary world we're living in, and we, these kids have all been raised now with phones in their hands, so it's real easy to get on an app and place a bet.
All right,
so
that's enough of this. Okay, so he takes aim at Cincinnati. He talked glowingly about Texas Tech. The funniest part about that whole clip there is, I mean, if we would have, he probably should have just gone to the draft, but nobody knew. So he's trying to cover his own ass, but then expose Cincinnati. But if you didn't know, how'd you know that Cincinnati knew?
Right.
And my first thought on this was, as this quote was starting to really make its way around social media, is people have to recognize that currently Ron Slavin is in the process of being sued by the University of Cincinnati for $1 million, which is restitution for what they already paid him and guaranteed they'd pay him for another year. So of course Ron Slavin's going to go on the radio and kill Cincinnati and be like, why is anybody talking about how Cincinnati is involved in here, when Cincinnati is suing them for money that they believe Sorsby owes back?
I'm so ready for this to just be over.
We're so close, James.
He played at Cincinnati 2 years ago. His college career is over. He's not playing at Texas Tech. Let's move on. But Ron Slavin also almost kind of outed himself as maybe being the worst agent of all time. Because Brendan Sorsby was projected, had he entered the NFL draft originally before all of this, as the number 3 quarterback off the board. Some scouts had him higher than Ty Simpson, who went 13 from Alabama to the Rams. That could have maybe been Sorsby. Maybe somebody reaches for him. If he was a
but he didn't know about the gambling.
Of course.
James, only Cincinnati knew, which he knows now, but didn't know then.
Right. Only Cincinnati. It's their fault. Clearly.
By the way, is he the worst agent of all time if he didn't know about the gambling stuff with Sorsby?
Right. Another reason why this is totally backfired on him and on that angle. I'm just so tired of the narratives and the angles. Everybody has an opinion. It's over. It's done.
Well, and Matt Hayes from USA Today did report that Cincinnati knew about it, but I haven't, for my money, seen credible evidence or heard of credible evidence. The people around Cincinnati continue to say we didn't know about it. Look, my opinion on this is I find that hard to believe, but if there's no evidence, then there's no evidence of it. And look, I mean, I would imagine the NCAA would be going after Cincinnati if they knew. There's potential criminal involvement here, so could the feds be after him? So, it's just funny because I pointed out on social media yesterday that, he's saying this because he's being sued by Cincinnati, so of course he's going to make Cincinnati look bad. Oh, by the way, Texas Tech is still paying out the money that they agreed to pay Sorsby, which means the agent gets paid, so he's going to talk glowingly about Texas Tech, right? Like, so all this stuff makes sense. He's getting paid by Texas Tech. The agent is, because Texas Tech is still going to pay Sorsby. He's not getting paid, or he's losing money in the Cincinnati deal. So all this makes sense. And yet in my mentions from bringing this up, it's either like all these Cincinnati fans agreeing with me or Texas Tech fans go the opposite way. And it's just super funny how it's just like totally tribal.
Like, Cincinnati's knowledge of the gambling stems from an alert. The Big 12 has a deal with Prohibibet, which is an app that every player has to have installed on their phone. If they try to place a bet, it gets flagged. August of 2024, it showed Sorsby attempted to access a fantasy site, Prize Picks. This is all in the court documents. The school, the school being Cincinnati, they questioned him after the alert. They were told that he was denied access to Prize Picks and had not placed any wagers. Cincinnati says it did not receive any additional alerts related to Sorsby during his 2 seasons. So maybe the oversight and the angle is that Cincinnati didn't investigate this hard enough. You know, they didn't go deeper after that alert to see if this was really happening. I can't really fault them for not doing that at this point in time. Like, Sorsby was going to bet on games, whether it was legal through an app or whether it was transferring $60,000 to friends' accounts to gamble for him. Just ready for it to all be over.
Well, and again, going back to Slavin, because it feels like nobody's taken any personal responsibility of this entire discussion. Everybody's just pointing the fingers in other directions here.
It's a good way to
whether
frame
it's Slavin or Sorsby. But, like, yeah, I mean, you probably should have just talked your client into going to the draft.
Right.
And if you're an agent that didn't know about this happening,
then you don't know your client very well.
And you're not doing a good enough job as his agent.
Mm-hmm. And I can see why Sorsby would, for lack of a better phrase, try to hide that from his agent. I can see why Sorsby made the decisions that he made. I'm not agreeing with them or saying that it's okay, but I can see his perspective of it.
Yeah.
And the only piece of that Slavin clip that I do really lean into is that Sorsby does seem like a genuine good kid, right? He's not a bad person because he picked up an app and bet on games. It's all just, it's such a mess. And we are so close.
So done with this. So done with the Sorsby saga. All right, we are back on Monday. We'll be off tomorrow for Juneteenth. We're back on Monday trying to get a consensus on number 9 in the Big 12.
Yes, because we locked in Colorado at 10.
That's right. So for Anthony Smith, our producer with Big 12 Studios, for Taman T-Chain Turner, for James Westling, I'm Ari Temkin. Big 12 Today is back on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. We're presented by Modelo, but for now we're out. Peace.